Hey guys, it's Dutch. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dutchess. This is my channel, Dutchess Divinity, and we do lots of stuff here. But today I'm going to do a pick a card for your 2026. People really liked these when I did the predictions for the new year. Honestly, I didn't do it last year because I don't want to sound selfish, but I wasn't in any of the groups the previous year. Like, none of them matched up with my my predictions didn't match up with my year, so I was kind of like, oh, maybe like it wasn't that good, but a lot of people commented that it was for them, and so it wasn't necessarily that the reading wasn't accurate, it was that it wasn't for me. And so yeah, I don't know, hopefully I'm one of the groups this year. If not, that's okay. But yeah, I just wanted to do this and kind of set a good precedent for 2026. So I kind of just wanted to talk in the beginning. I feel like I haven't been as open. Okay, so I feel like when I started this channel, I was very like closed off, and I just wanted to make other people happy. Like, I was very much in like a people pleaser energy, and I also think the internet was very different in the sense that we were all locked down and we all were using the internet as like an outlet for community. And I think I just really wanted to please people and make people happy. And as I've talked about like a million times before, I was fresh out of an abusive relationship, and I had suffered like so much at the hands of the systems due to like mental health issues, and just experienced a lot of medical abuse, truly. And so I was also coming out of like poverty, like having $230 a month in cash assistance, and like $194 in food stamps, and like that's what I was living off of. So it was like I was extremely meek, I would say, a huge people pleaser, still healing the experiences with all different kinds of abuse. I didn't really have the best relationship with my family. I didn't really have any friends. Like, I was truly starting from nothing, and so I felt very honored to have a platform and to connect with people, and it was extremely humbling. And I think one of the biggest compliments I got is like, oh, you're so authentic, you're so yourself. But there was a lot that I was like holding back and hiding because of the censorship from COVID and the lockdowns, and I had a lot of, opinions about things that were not popular, and some of my unpopular opinions were well received, like when I was talking about hookup culture and how I think it's really toxic and how it did nothing but bring me misery, mental illness, and put me in a lot of dangerous situations. And then that live got taken down and literally like thrown out by YouTube. And that's like the infamous hookup culture live that was like almost 3 hours long. And they took it down for like nudity and copyright music, of which neither were involved in the live. And people saw it firsthand. And I think that, we see that now. I have a live I just did that they muted me and were like making my face all glitchy and stuff. And people see it in real time. And so I think when I did start to like open up about my true thoughts and feelings, I was severely punished by this platform, because this platform is pushing a very specific, toxic, anti-human narrative, anti-freedom narrative. And I think it's gone so downhill in the last 5 years. And so I think after I came out of my people-pleasing phase, I really went like full force into like, this is who I am. If you don't like it, like, fuck off, get the fuck out, I don't care. Because I think something that you lose when I'm just a talking head on a screen is like the evolution that I'm going through as a individual. And I've also been very open about how I've experienced trauma since I was 2 years old. So I have complex PTSD. I am considered legally disabled by the federal government, and because of everything I've been through, because I had a very abnormally abusive life. And I feel like I finally escaped the chains of abuse in late 2017, almost 2018, and then 2020 we just went into another abusive situation with the lockdown. So I feel like I only had freedom over my life for 2 years, and then I went back into basically being a subservient slave to the systems again. And part of the systems I feel I am a subservient slave to is this platform, YouTube. And you know, it has given me this opportunity to have a career, and it has given me so much, but it's also taken so much from me, including stealing my money. Like, but I just, yeah, so anyway, I hit a wall, and now I'm like, I'm me, and if you don't like it, get the fuck out, and I'm gonna argue with you, and this and that. And like, I just think it was like a healing evolution, and just the pendulum swinging, right? Because it's like, for so much of my life I was a people pleaser, or I had to people please in order to survive in abusive situations. And so it was like, I finally had this platform where I could speak my mind. But the other thing too that like I've been trying to show myself grace for a lot with this is that, you know, people were talking to me like I was a piece of shit. Like, people were not speaking to me kindly. People were speaking to me abusively through the comments. And so it's like, the abuse I worked so hard to have zero tolerance for in my physical life came back to haunt me through COVID, through random strangers and systematical, like, or system, whatever, like the systems they were putting in place to oppress us during that time. And then now I have abusive people in the comments calling me every name under the sun, yelling at me, telling me what to do, attacking me. And it's like, I felt like people were so nice when they were like, you're so raw, you're so authentic, like, I just love that so much about you. And they would say how much they loved it until I said or did something that they disagreed with. And now my authenticity and my honesty was considered like bad or wrong, or something that needed to be corrected, or I needed to be educated, or you're just young, you don't understand life. And it's like, yes, I'm young, but I'm not that young. I'm 33 years old. And by the way, I've lived way more life than most people in those 33 years than some people will live in their entire lifetime. Okay? And so it was so offensive that like the same people that I was providing this free content for, that they were so fickle, right? They were, I love you, I love you, I love you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, as soon as I started to really be myself, to really step into my authenticity, to really step into my honesty, which is something that people said they liked, and they liked it until they didn't, right? And so I feel like I'm a completely different, like I'm far more of a woman than I was when I first started this channel. I feel like many of us, I feel like I've lived 30 years in the last 5 years, from 2020 to now. And I just think when I started this out, I still really had that like 20s mentality, because I spent a chunk of my 20s stuck, right? I was stifled, just trying to survive this abusive relationship, trying to survive severe poverty, trying to survive severe mental illness. And so it was like I didn't get to grow and learn and change the way that maybe others do in their early 20s. I didn't get to experience things, like I didn't get to like do the fun stuff. And also like when 2020 happened, I started experimenting with psychedelics for the first time in my life, which also like from 2020 to like 2021, I'll just say it, like I was on drugs, like I was on psychedelic drugs, and I was like microdosing them, but I was still doing them. And so it's like I started experimenting with things that most people get out of the way in their early 20s, and I documented it on the internet, which also most people don't do. So it's like I'm not the same person I was when people were like subscribing to this channel and loved me so much, because like that version of me was on drugs and also mentally ill from everything I had suffered from, like trying to heal from a lifetime's worth of complex PTSD, abuse, and suffering, while also being abused and suffering from the government and from my peers when I was going out without a mask because I couldn't wear it. And if you want to know why I couldn't wear it, migraines for one, but for two, I was suffocated. Like I almost died from suffocation from a very violent rape, which is what sent me spiraling, which was what really kicked in all of my autoimmune and mental illness because I almost died. I was suffocated, trigger warning, face down in the pillow. I didn't think I was going to survive. I felt like I was drowning. I had to claw my way up the bedpost. And the whole time my head was slamming against the wall, like after getting myself, sorry, it's emotional, but it's the truth. Like, and it's not just the truth for me. Like, they say 1 out of 3 women are raped, but I think it's way more than that. Like, I think it's way more than that. But, and then men and children too, right? Like, this is an issue that affects everyone, but I would say overly affects women and children. But, I almost died from that. So when I had the mask on my face, I was going into full-blown flashbacks. And so I had 2 doctor's notes, one from my neurologist and one from my therapist. And I was being attacked on a daily basis, threatened, physical harm on a daily basis. And people saying, you're too young for PTSD. Do you know how offensive that is? Like, when your whole life has been a nightmare? And people are telling you you don't know what real suffering and pain is? Simply because the government told them they can be assholes? And that you're the bad guy and they're the good guy? Even though everything they're doing is awful? I really didn't want to get emotional during this. I didn't expect things to go in this way. But I feel like I need to just, like, say this. Because I'm at a crossroads with my channel right now. So it's like, I was going through all of that and then getting hammered in the comments by people. And then when I was, like I said, finally opening up about how I truly feel about things that shouldn't be controversial to say. Like, when the assassination attempt was on Donald Trump, I was like, you shouldn't want to watch anybody's head explode. Like, why would you want to watch anybody's brain splatter? And then somehow I'm the bad guy for saying I don't want to watch a fellow human being, no matter who they are, have an exploded head, right? And then, you know, same thing happened with Charlie Kirk. It was like, so many people were justifying this or celebrating it. I had people in the comments being like, you're disgusting. How could you defend this? And it's like, how are you defending public execution of an innocent man? And people were saying, well, he's not innocent. No, he is. Like, what did he do? He just talked. And don't hit me with that bullshit of, well, you know, words are violence. No, they're not. Take it from someone, like I said, who's literally almost died multiple times from real violence. Fought for my life in a domestic violence situation. Fought for my life while being violently raped. Before that relationship, that was my friend. My friend and my coworker violently raped me like that. On a regular fucking Tuesday. And the reason he did so was because he said I was a slut and I deserved it. So I just feel kind of like betrayed, honestly. Because I feel like I gave so much of myself on this channel. And it's like people wanted me to be a certain kind of talking head. And then when I kind of pushed back on that, and like I said, I wasn't perfect all the time. I did it in ways that, you know, I'm not proud of. I argued in ways that I'm not proud of. Most people just don't document it on the internet for everyone to see. And so, yeah, it feels like once I started actually being honest and authentic in a way that people weren't expecting, they suddenly didn't want it anymore. And they wanted me to hide who I am, and they wanted me to, like, not share. And I kind of get that, because there's like certain creators that I'm like, I don't want to hear about your politics. I don't want to hear about this. I don't want to hear about that. But I've always talked about it. Like, my first lives were talking about the corruptions in government. My first lives were talking about MK Ultra and all these things that I was learning about at the time, and that I wanted to bounce off these ideas with other people, right? And like-minded people who said they liked me and they supported me. And so the evolution, I feel, I've just shifted so much over the years. And then over the last 2 years, you've watched me deal with like 3 major deaths in my life. Doobie, my best friend from college. Cornica, my baby, my fucking familiar, my best friend, my ride or die, my partner in crime, who you all loved too. Like, you all fucking loved Cornica too. And Grampy, one of my favorite people. I lost 3 of my favorite people. And yes, I'm counting Cornica as a people right now. But Grampy was so special to me in so many ways. So important to me. And so I just feel like I've changed so much from that too. In that time period too, I suffered a really bad, because I was keeping my private life private, but I suffered a really bad, like, cheating situation as well. I had to watch and find out that, like, the love of my life had a child with someone else. Like, what I thought was the love of my life. It's just, it's been really dark and really hard, and the internet feels so dark and so hard as well. And being a talking head on the internet, especially when you do the work I do, when you're dealing with people's souls, when you're reading, when you're doing spell work, when you're healing, it's hard, guys. It's hard. And I did not expect to get this emotional. It's just a lot. And I feel like I'm at a crossroads of my career right now, because it's not sustainable for me to keep going down the path I was going down. Because like I said, like, it's not healthy for me and it's not good for me and stuff like that. Like, for so many reasons and everything I just said. But I'm also in this, like, crossroads in my life right now where, honestly, I wish I could just meet, like, the true love of my life and start a family. That's, like, all I want right now, is to be a wife and a mother. And really, that's all I've wanted since 2018. But like I said, I wasn't healed. I had to grow. I had to grow up a lot. You guys have watched me grow up. I had to grow up a lot. I had to heal a lot. I had to change a lot. I had to learn a lot, right? And at 33, my biggest wish going into the new year is to finally, oh my God, I wish I wasn't crying right now, but, like, I cry over everything. I cry every day. I've always been like this. And people say it's, like, so bad and weird to cry on the internet. Some of us just cry, guys. Some of us just cry. You love when we're authentic and open until we do something that you don't like, and then now it's weird, or now it's wrong, or now it's bad. And it's like, no, this is authentically me. My fake white woman tears. The amount of racism I've experienced for being white, I'm not afraid to say that anymore. Over the last, well, I've always experienced racism in the spiritual community for being white, because people say that we don't have ancestors. It's just such horse shit. We don't have ancestors. We are the devil incarnate, whatever. You, like, throw an insult, fill in the blank. I've been called everything under the sun, like I said. And, which is, I used to take so personally being indigenous. Like, I am literally Native American. I'm Ramapo Native American. The Native Americans who are almost completely wiped out that were native to New Jersey. It's, like, nearly impossible to find them now. And all my all my relatives are dead, and the only living one is abusive, severely abusive, was a severe child abuser when I was a child, like, severe, like, locked me in a room for a week, like, really fucked up stuff, you guys, I don't want to put on the internet, but, like, chased me with scissors, like, seriously abusive things. So I'm not going to her for any advice or connection to the tribe, I'll tell you that. But so, like, that's her, like, being actually Native American and having no one to guide me through that, while also being called every name under the sun for being a white woman and this and that. And the way people switch up so fast, like Saint Teresa Terror, like one minute she's commenting like, I love your women and children content, the next moment she's commenting, I hope you watch little girls in your life get raped. Like, I hate the internet. I can't lie, you guys. I hate the internet. I hate being in the public eye. I kind of hate having a channel. I often, like, fantasize about leaving and disappearing and falling into obscurity and not being here on the internet anymore. I was so pleasantly surprised by all the amazing comments I got on my last video. 'Cause I'm not used to people being so nice anymore. When I first started, it was like nothing but nice comments. And as I said, I think people and the internet in general has changed. Like, I used to comment all the time, and now I don't really. And I think it's kind of the same thing on my channel. And so, yeah, I'm at this weird crossroads in my life. So basically, okay, remember, 2111, that's where I want to put the timestamp for this. So, like I said, I want to be a wife and mother. My goal by the end of 2026 is to be with the person I want to spend the rest of my life with and to be preparing for a family, right? But this year, the house that I live in, it's full of mold and it's just not conducive. Like, I think that's part of all my health problems right now is like living in a black mold house that my landlords refuse to fix. And it's like, I don't want to rent. I don't want to be at the mercy of landlords or slumlords or whoever the fuck. I want a house. Like, I want a house, I want a condo, I want something. Ideally, I want a house. And I don't have a partner right now. And I'm still living in poverty. Like, I know my life looks good, and it is good compared to what it was, but like, I'm living in poverty. The amount of money I make a year, I am impoverished. And I also am a dependent, right? Like, I'm a dependent on this, like, housing situation in the sense that, like, this is their house. And they told me that by the end of the year, they're going to be retiring and that they'd like me to be out of here by the end of 2026, if not a little after. So I have that going on. And then also I've been very candid. Like I said, I am federally legally disabled. And so I do get like state insurance. I've been very open about that. I've been on benefits for a long time. And like I said, periods of my life I was on all the benefits because I was just trying to survive and in an abusive relationship and unable to keep a job due to physical and mental health issues, as well as him like stealing and controlling my money, right? Not as much with the money, but he was a thief. He would take my card out of my bag, and also I had to pay for it. He was controlling my money in the sense that I had to pay for everything because he could never keep a job because he was a heroin addict and an alcoholic. And so it was like I had to pay for everything. I had to pay for the rent. I had to do everything. And his dumbass would like just be doing that shit, right? Just getting high and drunk. And it took a while. Like, if you've ever been in an abusive relationship, you know it takes a long time to break the chains that are like holding you to this parasite, right? Because that's what an abuser is. They're a parasite. And so, yeah, so I'm still living in poverty, and I need to get a house for me and the cats. I don't want to get another apartment. I don't want to be at the whim of a landlord. I don't want to be at the whim of, you know, since Donald Trump came into office, just reminding you I didn't fucking vote. Everybody loves to scream at me that I voted him in. No, I didn't. You know what I did on voting day? If you paid attention, you'd know. I stayed at home and I prayed. And I said, God, it's in your hands. Do with it what you will, God. And this is what God did, okay? And so, like it or not, this is the timeline that we're on. But he is negatively affecting, like, life-sustaining benefits, right? Like health insurance and shit like that. And so I don't want to be dependent on the state anymore. I don't want to be, I don't want to owe anything. I want to pay off my student loans, which are not that high, but they're high enough, right? I want to pay off my student loans. I don't want to be indebted to the state. I don't want to be indebted to the government, to the federal government. I want to, like, yeah, I can acknowledge that I am considered legally disabled, and I think it's fair that I have that title, but I don't want to let my disability, like, keep me down and in poverty and unable to succeed. So it's like, I want to break out of that this year. Like I said, I want to meet the love of my life. I want to get ready to start having kids. I want a house. And so I'm at this, like, crossroads in my career, because this job is great, and I'm so grateful to those of you who spend your money on my products or my services or have supported me in any way. Like, I'm really grateful for that. But it's not cutting it in this economy. It's just not. And I think a lot of people understand that I think I'm making the most money I've ever made in my life, and I'm the most strapped for cash I've ever been. And I've heard those same words come out of clients' mouths as well, because things are just so bad, right? Like, they're bad. On every level, they're bad. And so I'm just going to be honest. I don't know if any of you will, like, care, but like I said, we're just having an open, honest conversation right now. It's really embarrassing for me to admit, but I think I'm just gonna fucking start selling feet pics, because there's a fucking market for it, and I keep watching people make, like, obscene amounts of money from doing stuff like that, right? Or, like, just doing things that don't actually seem to matter in the grand scheme of life. They're not actually helping anyone or doing anything productive, and they're making gross loads of money, okay? And with the feet, to me, that's not an inherently sexual part of my body. I guess it would be definitely considered sex work, because that's how the people buying the feet are perceiving the feet. But to me, those are my feet. Like, I'm not sending you pictures of my pussy. I'm sending you pictures of my feet. Like, so I don't know. That's kind of what I've decided. I'm going to give it a go. And I already, like, when I have my ASMR page, there's, like, normal people over there from this channel that went over there, and they're cool, and they just ask for certain ASMR things. But there are a lot of men over there that, like, are sexualizing the ASMR that I'm doing, whether I'm trying to be sexy or not. Sometimes I won't lie, I'll, like, kind of camp it up a little bit and, like, feed off of that. But, like, sometimes I'm just being normal, and they find a way to sexualize it. And so I kind of already have a market. Plus, when Michael the Peace Dealer did my birth chart, he was like, there's, like, sex work in your birth chart. And I've never been someone who's, like, done that. I've had pole fitness as my hobby, right? But I never worked in a strip club. I've never had an OnlyFans. That's just something that's not for me. As I said, I have a lifetime of trauma, and most of that trauma is sexual trauma. I'm not throwing myself back into the snake pit and going full blown into sex work, right? And I have a lot of my own mental sufferings around that, because of what I just told you about, how when I got raped so bad I almost died. Like, he literally was like, it's because you're a slut and you deserve it. So there's, like, that was 12 years ago, and that shit still affects my subconscious. So yeah. And also, I don't think sex work is very good for society, like hardcore sex work, like, and that's just my opinion. And like I said, people love when I'm authentic and honest until it disagrees with their opinion. So it's like, that's just my opinion. I think it's quite degenerate for society. I'm not saying the women who, people love to twist the words. I'm not saying the women who do it are degenerates. I think a lot of the men who buy it are the degenerates, but I also think it's, like, degenerate in that it deteriorates society. I don't think it sets a good precedent to just, like, narrow a woman down to what she can offer you sexually, and to throw some kind of money at that. Like, I think that sex is sacred, and I think that sex work, like actual prostitution, OnlyFans, porn, I think all of that is really, really toxic and bad for society. And, you know, maybe the feet shit is the same, but it's just feet at the same time. It's like if I was like a hand model and people were fapping to my hands. I'm doing ASMR, I'm chewing gum and people are fapping to me just like fucking chewing a piece of gum. Like, people are gonna sexualize anything and everything, okay? And so, yeah, that's my plan. I'm gonna try and start selling feet pics because here I am. I keep promising you guys, yeah, we're gonna get the land, and I can't lie, I am like furious because my my like astrology and everything, I'm supposed to be rich right now due to my astrology, and I'm poor, as I said. So it's like I keep getting these like signs that like, you're gonna be able to do it, Nikki, you're gonna have the money to do it. And like, I don't want money to buy a fucking million cars and a mansion. I want money to buy a plot of land and to have I want a beautiful house. I do. I want a big, beautiful house. I've never had a big, beautiful house. I do want that for myself. But I also want to create Airbnbs. I want to have these beautiful healing sanctuaries. I want to have gardens. I want to create a small oasis on this planet where we are working in symbiosis with Mother Gaia, and you can come to my land and you can be free and you can be safe and you can be off the grid from all the bullshit, and you can come and you can heal and you can connect to the earth and connect to the ancestors and to the guides and to yourself, right? Like, I don't want money to be selfish. I want money to heal people and to heal myself and to build a big, beautiful legacy and family and to heal Mother Gaia. And so, I don't know, I just gotta go out on a limb and I gotta start fucking selling feet pics, I guess. I don't know. A big reason why I didn't do it was because my family members were extremely judgmental in a lot of ways around that kind of thing, but I just think so much has changed over the last 5 years. And even my sister, who was like the biggest, judgiest, meanest person about my pole dancing, she was like, hey, why the hell not? Go ahead, sell your feet. But her husband has changed her a lot he softened her a lot and changed her for the better in a lot of ways. But anyway, I gotta try selling my feet. I can't imagine, I mean, I'm not judging. If anybody here wants feet pics, you know who to hit up. But in all seriousness, like, I'm going to start doing that. If you want them, great. I like I said, you guys come to me for something completely different. You come to me for like spiritual knowledge and inner growth. And I'm grateful to you all for that. And I love you all for that. But yeah, like I said, that there's a market for people who are trying to sexualize me anyway, no matter what I do, particularly men, right? And so this is the avenue I'm going to take, so I feel like it's safest and it could be the most lucrative while also not triggering my serious complex PTSD. And I think it's a way for me to turn all of the sexual trauma that I have had throughout my life and flip it into a positive and be able to, like I said, release my dependence to YouTube, release my dependence to a landlord, release my dependence to the state, to the government, and just get my student loans paid, do all this shit. Like that's the hope. And I just realized, like, I can't sit around like waiting for a man with a far higher like wage gap, like the higher wage, right, to come and save me and give me a house and whatever. And it's like, I know I will have that, but crunch time is here, baby, and in the next year I gotta make a lot of money. And yeah, so I'll be doing that. And then, so if you have any advice, if you do that and you have any advice, I'm gonna go on Feet Finder. But if you have any advice towards that, or you do that yourself, please leave it in the comments. And yeah, so like that's one way that I'm taking my career. Now the next thing is like, I'm at a crossroads in my career. Like, what content do you guys want to see? So once I start making more money to pay off like the necessities, I really want to, that's the other thing. Not many people know this. I do everything from my phone. I do everything from like an iPhone 8. Let that sink in. Everything I do on this platform for work, for my website, for everything is on an iPhone 8. Really let that sink in, okay? I am like behind because I'm poor. Like I said, I was always really embarrassed to like, I was embarrassed to admit about the abuse. I was embarrassed to admit about my mental health issues. I was embarrassed to admit how poor I am. I'm just going to be honest now, okay? I'm poor. I got an iPhone 8. I make it work with the iPhone 8, okay? but I want to get a laptop and I want to like start making better content. And one of the types of content I want to make is like commentary, because I am so knowledgeable on hidden symbolism. Like I watched Die Hard, one of my favorite movies, last night. Christmas movie. Duke it out in the comments. Is it a Christmas movie or not? In my opinion, it is. You're allowed to disagree, of course. But one of my favorite movies, the amount of hidden symbolism I saw in it, and I just want to say it like I'm Rain Man or something, but it's like, that's not fun if you're trying to watch a movie with me and I'm just spitting it out. But it is fun if you're coming to me for commentary and you want to see the hidden symbolism. And someone even put it really well. They're like, oh, I'd love for you to break down like pedophilic dog whistles that they're, because I have a high knowledge of it. And something I've never really talked about, because I never wanted to seem braggy, is I kind of have a photographic memory. Like, I have a really good memory, and I am like insanely good with pattern recognition, which I think is part of what makes me a good psychic, is the pattern recognition. Because not just the pattern recognition in people, but the pattern recognition in the way that my guides are trying to communicate with me and what the symbols and everything means. So yeah, I really want to do commentary, but I need a laptop to be able to do that. And also, the other thing, guys, let me know in the comments. People have said, oh, you should make like a GoFundMe. Like, I'd love to just donate. And like, there's a huge part of me that has a really hard time asking for help and like feels like I don't deserve free handouts and whatever. And so let me know in the comments if you want that to be a thing where we create like a GoFundMe or a space to donate to the land, because it's not just going to be my land. Like, yes, my house is going to be my house and my house is going to be separate, but I want plenty of land that it's like our land. And even I have a Pinterest board that says my land, our land, because this land is meant, this land is your land, this land is my land. But no, but really, like, this land is meant to be shared. Like, that is the goal. The goal is to share with like-minded individuals and to make the world a better place through the high frequency that we can cultivate on the land, right? And to heal. Like, the main objective of the land is to heal. So if you would not be offended by a GoFundMe, or you feel like it's a good idea, let me know that in the comments. I'm not asking, like, I know that a lot of my clients are also poor and also suffering, and that's what kills me, is like the money are in the hands of the most evil. And that's something I'm working on breaking down right now too, is that like money isn't evil, it's how you use it that's evil, right? And it's typically the people who have been in charge of society that are evil and they have a lot of money. I also wonder if this whole system's gonna fail and money's gonna be obsolete. I don't know, you guys. I have no fucking idea. But anyway, so I want to start doing commentary once I get better equipment. I like doing makeup. I'm really good at makeup. I was like known for my makeup in college, and people would come to me and they wanted their makeup done. And it was before, like, back when like the first makeup YouTubers like Sparkage X or whatever were like the only ones doing the makeup. Yeah, so like I would be interested in doing makeup tutorials. I'm interested in making commentary. And then like I started making tarot because that's like the content I consumed. But the content I consume now is like ASMR, which I really like ASMR. I like scary stories. That's mostly the content that I listen to, is like people telling scary stories. I like, what else? I like the Girls Next Level podcast, because that's just like something I'm interested in, but that's obviously not content I'm going to be making. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of the content I actually consume, because that's what I feel. Oh yeah, and then like when I get a house, like that is the content I want to be making. I want to be making content on like how I'm decorating my house, home improvements that I might be doing, like taking care of the yard, just different things. Like I really am going to be pivoting my content more towards that, or creating a second channel for content, or not second, third, I don't know, however many, content towards that. And then when I become a mom, like I'm not, sorry guys, but my kid's not going on the internet. Like you'll not see their face unless you meet them in person. I'm just not doing it. We live in pedophile world and I'm not willing to risk it. So yeah, so I do want to do mom content though, without the kids, right? So like just things about being a mom or stuff like that. And like, I don't know, I guess that could change, but I really don't see myself putting my kids online. even I guess with a blurred face, people can like figure out how to take that off and shit. Like, so I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but anyway, that's the kind of content I consume, and that's the kind of content I want to pivot towards, and obviously I want to keep doing tarot readings. I really like making the edited ones, but as I said, from my phone, it's like, it's like a lot more work, and it can be really limiting trying to do everything from an iPhone 8 through iMovie. Everything I do, I make through iMovie. Yeah, let that sink in. Everything I do, I make through iMovie. I have no training in this. I have no special skills in technology. In fact, I would say I'm like kind of technology retarded. So yeah, that's kind of what I want to do. And just let me know in the comments, like, what do you want to see from me? If you want readings, give me some topics, guys. The topics used to be overflowing. I didn't used to have to think of topics because people would just give them to me. So if you want readings, give me topics. If you want readings, give me positive feedback or constructive criticism, right? Like, someone left a comment and it was like, this reading was really disappointing. It felt like a lecture. And it's like, okay, like, that wasn't the intention. Sorry you felt disappointed, but at least they weren't like, oh, I hate you, Dutchess. All you ever do is lecture us. You're the worst. You are this. You are that. It's like, I can actually see where you're coming from when you're clear and concise and you get to the point of being like, yeah, I was disappointed in this. It felt like a lecture. Okay, like, that is constructive criticism, and you're not, like, insulting me, and you're not saying you always do this, or I hate you, or, you know, whatever. It's a different kind of communication. So give me constructive criticism, give me compliments, give me anything, y'all. Give me anything. The comment section is sparse as fuck, and then it's like, I don't know which direction to fucking go in because you're not giving me direction. And it's not just me up here deciding everything. Like, this is a group effort. This is the channel doesn't exist without y'all. So, like, I'm the talking head, like I said, which is painful and hard in a lot of ways, and I really don't like it. I do like it in other ways, but I do need collaboration. And if I'm gonna have the land, like, that's the point. The point of the land is for collaboration. The point of the land is to heal. The point of the land is to come together, right? So, and to put on some of the fucking best parties in the land. But anyway, over the next year, I'm going to be trying to make money selling my feet. I'm going to be praying for my husband. I'm going to be praying for to start having children, praying for a house, praying for the land, praying to step into the next chapter of my life. So that was 45 minutes. I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to be like 20 minutes, but it's all right. So now we'll get into your readings. All right, I'll see you guys. I want to do my little pick a group, and then I'll see you in your groups. Okay, I love you. If you listen to all this, thanks. I appreciate you. And I hope we meet someday. I'm tired of doing everything through the phone. I want to start meeting y'all face to face. I want to start hugging you. I want to start holding you through your, healing. I want to bury you. Like, I just can't wait to do the burial ceremonies like we do in Salem. Like, I can't wait till that's like my thing. And I have dirt from all over America. And I can just say, today we're burying you in some dirt from the desert. And tomorrow we're going to bury the girl in dirt from Maine. And you know what I mean. And today we're going to bury this other person in sand from the beach. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm ready for that face-to-face interaction. I'm ready to teach y'all to dance. I want a dance studio on that land. I want to dance with you. I want to laugh with you. I want to hug you. I want to do spell work with you. I want to do, rituals with you. I want to celebrate with you. I want to put on fucking kick-ass shows for you. I want to provide you with joy in a world that is so devoid of it. And that's the goal. But I also want a husband and a family and all that other shit too. So anyway, let's get to the pick a card. Just so you know, guys, the upcoming spells are we're doing a dragon fast for the first 11 days, which is going to be really awesome and intense. Of 2026, we're setting out the year right with fasting. And also, I never talked about this much, but Cornica was totally a dragon. And I feel like as soon as I say that, it's going to make sense to you because her frequency is so, like, dragon-like. But I just got a Cornica memorial tattoo, and I'm just excited to work with her frequency through the dragon energy for that. We're also doing a spell with Aphrodite for a beautiful, blessed new year, and I am really excited to do that. I need a little beauty spell in my life in so many ways, and I feel a little guilty because I did kind of neglect her the last year because I wasn't really focused on beauty. I was focused on surviving. And so I want to do a lot more with Aphrodite in 2026 because I love working with her, and she is a wonderful goddess to me and my clients. So, yep, there's that spell, and then there's the Aphrodite spell and the dragon spell. So, just so you know. Okay, I'll see you in your groups. Okay, guys, so we're going to do your 2026, and we're going to have 3 groups today, and you're going to pick from the deck. Obviously, if you can't tell, I am sick, so sorry about that, but I just feel like I have to do this today. Group 1 is going to be this deck. This is a moment after tarot, so this is going to be group 1. Group 2, excuse me, going to be this deck. This is my Spirit Halloween deck that is actually so good and so accurate and has a lot of correct symbolism. Group 2. And then group 3 is going to be my Light Seers tarot deck. This one has a lot of beautiful imagery as well. So I will hold them all up together. Actually, I'm just going to take the card off the top of each group, and that's how we'll start each group. Okay. So we have group 1, group 2, and group 3. All right. I will see you guys in your groups. Pause the video if you need to. I love you. Hi, group 1. This is for those of you who chose this deck. The card that I pulled off the top is the 6 of Pentacles. So I feel like one of the major themes of the year is going to be getting things in balance. So whether that is you are not in equal give and take in your relationships, you are not in equal give and take with your employer, or like whatever it is, I feel like one of the major themes of the year is refusing breadcrumbs, starting to become very literate and financially healthy, like around money. So if you are learning how to be better with your money, or you're learning how to budget your money, or whatever, that's going to be a major theme this year. A huge theme is going to be justice, as well as breaking out of poverty. Because as you can see, we have this impoverished person getting breadcrumbs from this aristocrat who also has a scale here. And so I feel the scales are shifting. You're creating your own justice. You are no longer accepting less than what you are worth. You're coming out of a state of lack, and you are breaking poverty chains that I heard go back millennia in your family line. So you're breaking certain ancestral curses around money. I just saw 111. Yeah, so that's how we'll start off. So, God, let me just say a little prayer, actually. Benevolent guides, guardians, ancestors, angels, star family, higher self, Yeshua, Baal, Raya, Maya, Kornika, Sophia, Jack, and God's source. I just ask, please, that you move through me, and that you give us messages for our highest good. I call upon Shiva, I call upon Father Ra, I call upon Yeshua, Jesus Christ, to give that benevolent Father frequency. And then I call upon Kaliman Durga Ma, I call upon Sophia Creatrix, I call upon Aphrodite, and all the benevolent, I call upon Medusa, Hecate, all the benevolent mother frequencies to guide this reading for all 3 groups. I pray of this with the purest of hearts and the best of intentions. I'm over Ashina Mastay, but the power of 3 Samotic be always works, always a blessing. I also call upon their spirits and their ancestors, benevolent ancestors, benevolent spirits as well. Amen. Okay. So God, what is the message for group 1? What is going to be the message for January? Okay, so for January, these went flying out. All right, so for January, we have the Ace of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles, and the 2 of Swords. Okay, so I feel like you are moving through some serious mental health issues. So usually this card can mean that something is hiding from you, but the late great Doobie, rest in peace, he always saw this as the suicide card, and that was just his personal interpretation of it. So whether you've been having that kind of ideation or you've just been dealing with mental health in any form, I feel like you're going to be removing the shackles and the blindfolds of mental health that has kept you from reaching your goals in the past and from seeing yourself clearly and from seeing, opportunities and what you have to offer the world clearly. So I feel like you spent a lot of your life being downtrodden and being told who you are and how you don't measure up or how you're wrong or how you don't fit in or different things like that. And the first month of the year, you're going to be really releasing a lot of negative habits, negative thought processes, negative just overall ideas of yourself, or that were implanted in you at an extremely young age when your brain was developing and the adults around you should have been nurturing and watering your thoughts. Instead, they were kind of screwing you up. And so I feel like you're going to be breaking certain shackles and removing blindfolds around what it is that you are capable of and what are possibilities for you. I also see that there's going to be some, sorry, again, sick, so I just gotta remember to breathe. I also see that when you start to remove these shackles and these blindfolds, you're going to be surprised with some really big blessings here. Like, are you kidding me? First month of the year and we have 10 of Pentacles, Ace of Cups. I feel like you don't see this coming. Part of it is because your spirits want to surprise you, but the other part, like I said, is because of the own mental health stuff or voices in your head that are holding you back from seeing your true value and your true worth. And so here with the 10 of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, it's like there's this huge blessing that is coming in. It's a blessing in self-love and self-value, but it's also a physical blessing in like actual love from outside of yourself and finances from outside of yourself, right? So it's like the more you value and love yourself, the more your 3D matrix mirrors that back to you. And I think one of the big lessons you'll be going through in January is that your 3D doesn't actually mean anything. So they say that everything you see around you now is it was all manifested from your thought processes and feelings of the past. So who you are now is not generally reflected in your 3D reality. And so it's important to not be discouraged by the 3D. It's important not to spiritually bypass and not to take accountability or just to pretend like shit's not happening, right? Like we don't want to do that, but we also don't want to base all our worth and value off of the 3D, because the 3D doesn't actually mean as much as we've been groomed to believe it does. So you're going to be getting more self love and more valuing of the self, which is then going to reflect in love from others and actual physical finances. And you're finally going to be removing shackles and blindfolds that have been plaguing you since you were born, possibly. And as I said, plaguing your family line for many, many years. Okay. February, Valentine's Day. King of Cups. Okay, so you could be dating. Like during February, you could have a boyfriend. If you already have a boyfriend, you could be taking things to the next level. If you're already married or whatever, you could be renewing your vows, or you could just be getting closer, right? Doing more stuff together, making more time for your relationship instead of letting it kind of fizzle out in your marriage, right? But with February, I think you're going to be looking at a love confession. I think there's going to be a man around you that is going to be really pouring into you and feeling really safe to be emotional around you. So this man could have, okay, so there could have been like red flags in the past, because I'm noticing these ships with the red flags on the front. And so there could have been red flags in the past, and the red flags could have been due to this person not feeling safe to open up or be emotional or share who they are. They could have defense mechanisms that kind of just look like asshole behavior, when in reality they're just trying to protect themselves. And I feel like there's going to be a man whose walls are coming way down in February. And like I said, if you don't have a boyfriend, I feel like you could be getting into a relationship, or girlfriend, or whoever. Sorry, I'm just reading it how it's coming out in my head. But if you don't have a partner, I think you could be partnering up with someone. If you do have a partner, I do think that things are going to be getting more lovey-dovey, more romantic, and more wet. Know what I'm saying? Okay, so that's February. You could also be healing father wounds in February, or male, like wounds around the masculine. January, February, March, April, May. Okay, March. March, please, for group 1. God, March. Okay, we have Queen of Swords. Whoa. Queen of Swords, King of Swords. Okay, I'll take all these. Queen of Swords, King of Swords, the World, and Three of Swords. So, okay, you are going to be having some really deep, meaningful conversations with your person. So if you do start dating someone, like I said, in February, I think you're going to be having some really deep, meaningful conversations here with the King and Queen of Swords, because the swords are communication. But it feels like you're going to be hashing everything out, and I think you're going to be logically, like, laying a plan towards your future together. So there are certain logistics, right, towards creating things. Like I was saying in the beginning, how, like, I want to get a house, so I need to start making a plan of, like, how I'm gonna free myself financially and be able to afford that house. So it's like there's going to be certain conversations around the logistics towards reaching your goal with your partner in March. And I also think that you're ending a cycle with this person here with the World. You're ending a cycle around heartache, and actually you're healing a lot of wounds through these logistics. So maybe if you've always been in a situationship, and then it's like February, you start dating, they start to be more open with you, and then it's like March, it's like, okay, like, if we're gonna do this, let's do this. Let's, like, make the game plan. How are we gonna, like, what is our 1-year plan? What is our 5-year plan? You know, where do we want to see ourselves in 10 years? And I feel like you're gonna be really setting some strong, stable physical foundations around logistics towards moving forward in your relationship. And ending this cycle where you just end up going, I just heard tit for tat. So if this person, if you were kind of like going back and forth with them, or like they do something messed up, you do something messed up, like that kind of energy, whatever you've done to create heartbreak to each other in the past is going to be deeply healed through meaningful conversation and laying solid foundations and moving through the logistics of how you're going to make this work. You're completely leaving a certain phase in your life behind, where it's like you're not, like I said, you're maturing. You're not going back and forth with this person. You're not in a situationship. Like, no, you're leaving that part of your life behind. You're ending the cycle, and you're healing the wounds that you guys both created in each other, because I think you both have hurt each other in the past. So, or if it's a new person and you've never hurt each other, you're going to be having some deep, meaningful conversations about how others have hurt you in the past, how it's affected you in this relationship with your new person, ending that cycle and healing the wound so that you can create the logistics towards your future. March, April. April, please, for group 1. April for group 1. 6 of Swords, travel and moving toward the logistics that you were planning in March. So, you know, maybe you're deciding to move in together, and so you need to start, maybe you buy a house and you start moving into the new house. Maybe you go and you travel for work. If it has nothing to do with your relationship, perhaps you travel for work, and perhaps you travel for fun and you go on a vacation. Perhaps you're traveling for a wedding or something else along those lines. But either way, the month of April is going to bring travel, so prepare for that. Start saving money. Think ahead, right? And also, too, it feels like connected to March and so it feels like I said, because I'm just going to go on a limb and say group 1, I think this is pertaining to the relationship that you're building, because like I said in the beginning, Ace of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, King of Cups, and then Queen and King of Swords. I feel like, and then you see there's the woman, the child, and the man. And so it's like, I feel like you're going to be moving to a new, like I said, level with your relationship, but also it's kind of like your man is going to be sheltering, and again, change it. Man, woman, whatever the fuck. Your person is going to be working on creating a safe space for you and sheltering you away. And if you have a child or they have a child, they are going to make a point to shelter away your children and bringing you protection. And I also think you will be traveling. So maybe your person is long distance. You might be traveling down to see them with your child, or vice versa, traveling down to see them and their child. They could be traveling up to see you. Also too, if like you are creating this relationship with someone, April could be the month that you meet their child. So you know how like it's kind of like a red flag if someone just like introduces you to their kid right away. It's like not, I mean, unless you've known each other forever and ever and you really trust this person. If it's like a new relationship, you're not just introducing them to your kid right away. Like, that's weird. So if you are working out the logistics in March and one of you or both of you has kids, you could be meeting their child, they could be meeting yours, or you could be coming together to bring your children together in April. But either way, expect travel in April and expect to feel like a family. So as I said, you're working out the logistics in March. By April, you're going to feel really solid in this relationship, in this connection, and you're going to be feeling like, this is my new family. And you could be meeting, if there are no children involved, you could be meeting your significant other's family, because that's also a red flag, right? Like, if you don't, like, you only introduce someone to your family when you could really see a future with them. So after you've done the work from January to March, after 4 months of dating or whatever, you might be introducing your family to them or their family to you. Oh, the Wheel of Fortune fell out too. This was on the ground. I feel like it's gonna feel like finally things are turning in your favor. And I just heard, wheel in the sky keeps on turning. It kind of feels like things are finally stepping into motion and things are really taking a positive shift. And like I said, if you are moving into a new house in April or something, it's like you're finally getting the ball rolling. You're moving stuff in, you're painting, you closed on the house, like whatever it is. But things are finally, like, luck is finally turning in your favor in April. And prepare to travel. I do think you'll be traveling. You can come back and comment. Oh, 1444. Come back and comment if you do travel. Okay, let's see. May just feels really light, really springy, really abundant, and very feminine, which the Empress card is associated with Taurus, which is May. May, please, God. Very fast moving. May is gonna move, like, things are gonna move really fast. So like I said, after whatever kind of travel you do, things are gonna start moving fast. And I just heard plans are going to be made. So it's like communications around the next phase in your life. As I said, the wheel is turning. So it's like communications towards, like, if you are getting married, okay, let's set a date. Let's pick our colors. Let's start, let's get a wedding planner, like whatever that is. If you are, you know, like I said, combining families or creating a family with someone else, okay, like, let's talk about how are we going to do this? How are we going to, like I said, you're going to be talking logistics in March, but I feel like you're actually going to be, like, putting everything into practice in May. So you're talking it out in March, and by May, you're actually doing the logistics and everything that you spoke about with that person, okay? And things are going to be moving really fast, and there's going to be a lot of open communication between families, because I do feel like this is the reading for people who are, like, getting in a relationship or taking their relationship to the next level. So it's like the families are communicating, we're meeting the family, we're meeting the children, all that shit. It's like it's all happening really fast in May. And you also could get good news. You could get, like, news that you're pregnant, because it is Empress season. You could get news that you're pregnant. You could get news that, you know, you're getting promoted. Like, I do feel like good news is coming in May, and things are, all the logistics you talked about in March are going to be moving really fast and coming into reality in May. What about June? June, please. Okay. June. June is the Knight of Swords, the Magician, and the Seven. Sorry. Knight of Swords, the Magician, and the Seven of Cups. Okay. For some of you, you might need to defend yourself. You could be getting bad advice, okay? For some of you, you could be getting bad advice from people. So, like, let's say you're trying to plan a wedding and someone keeps butting in with ideas that you don't like. June, you're going to have to, like, stand up for yourself and be like, no, like, we're going to go with my idea. Thank you so much for your opinion, but we're going to do what I want to do. you're going to be, like I said, changing your life so rapidly and shifting things so quickly that the people around you are going to doubt it or be scared, and you can't allow their doubts or their fears to affect you negatively. You need to trust yourself, trust your gut, and trust your manifestation. I feel like whatever you're being blessed with in 2026, you've been manifesting for a really long time. And it's not, you can't be wishy-washy about it. You need to make a decision and stick to your decision and not let outside voices try to influence you outside of what you actually want. Now, for some of you, I'm getting a very specific message. It could be in-laws, okay? So sometimes we have in-laws who are not the best, let's just say. And so you might need to be standing up for your own little family against the in-laws or against whatever. Maybe your job, you're being worked to the bone and you're like, listen, I'm making this decision that I need to only work this many days a week. And they're trying to argue with you and give you bad advice that you need to work more. And you're like, no, I'm making this decision. I'm sticking with it. I've waited way too long for this manifestation to happen. Your doubts, your fears, your neediness, your obsession with control is not going to overtake my own choices and my own needs. You're going to have to stand 10 toes down. And it's going to be because your manifestation has shown up that you've been waiting for so long. And it's going to happen so fast that, like I said, there's going to be outside parties that are trying to create doubt and wishy-washy energy. So what about July, please, Spirit? Okay, we got 10 of Swords, July, Justice. Oh, wow. Okay. So something that was absolutely devastating for you, okay? Something that was like really, really devastating for you, you're going to get justice on in July. For some of you, it could be legal stuff. So like if you're struggling with some sort of legal matter, you're going to get justice for that in July. Something that took a really long time to get justice for. So for some of you as well, it could be like inheritance. So like if you've been battling to get an inheritance that was like rightfully left to you, but like there's people trying to take legal action against that. If you're in a custody battle, if you're trying to get a divorce, like if you're just in any kind of legal battle, you got in a car accident, something, or if it doesn't have to be legal at all, you could have just been deeply, deeply wronged and stabbed in the back here with the 10 of Swords. It's been a really long time that you've been waiting for justice on this situation here with the Knight of Pentacles. But with the Knight of Pentacles, it is a very solid, stable result. It's not just like a quick result that like we're just, you know, doing it on the fly and we're gonna make it happen and we're gonna give you this. But like, let's use legal issue, for example. Like you're supposed to get a payout, and if you were hasty, your payout wouldn't have been sufficient. But since you were patient and you waited, you're getting a much more stable payout, you know? So that's just one example. Something that was really, really painful and took a long time to be resolved. You're finally seeing movement here with the Chariot, and that's also Cancer. Like the Chariot is Cancer season and July is Cancer season. So you're seeing movement, and you're finally seeing the fruits of your labor, I just heard, and you're finally getting justice over this 10 of Swords situation in July. August. Oh, August feels whimsical. August, please, Spirit. The Death card. Wow. Let me get one more. Whoa. Okay. So I feel like August is a continuation of July in the sense that we have the Death card, the 7 of Swords, and the Lovers. There is major karma coming in for someone or something that was very evil towards you. So 7 of Swords is like stealing, lying, cheating, abusing, right? With the Death card here, it feels like this all, July and August feels like a continuation into each other. So like I said, 10 of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, the Chariot, and Justice. You're getting justice on something that took forever for you to get justice on, but you're finally seeing movement on it. And then with the Death card, 7 of Swords, the Lovers, it's like it ends. In August, it's over. In August, the legal proceedings are over. In August, like, whatever. If shit's over. Excuse me. 2222. Right before I said it's over. it's over. It's done. The Seven of Swords period of time in your life is done. And not only that, but you're getting the proper karma for it. Because the Lovers is about karma. You and your partner could be getting the proper karma and proper compensation for it. But either way, in August, that is fully over in August. Let's see. September, Queen of Pentacles. For some of you, you're getting a payout. Like I said, whether it's an inheritance, something's paying off. It could even be a work thing, like if you're getting like in a legal battle with like previous work, or like I said, if it's a custody battle, it's like you finally get the payout, or you finally get what you deserve as good karma from the bad situation you went through. So September, you're going to be feeling amazing. You could even be pregnant. You could get pregnant in September, because we do have the rabbit here with fertility. But I feel like in September, you're going to be here, like, here it is, finally, I did it, with the Queen of Pentacles. You're going to be looking at yourself, seeing yourself for who you truly are, appreciating and valuing yourself, and you're going to be holding up the fruits of your labor, something that took a really long time for you to achieve. You're going to be really reveling in it, and you're going to be showing off, like, I finally did it. I finally signed that deed. I finally beat the legal case. I finally bought the land. Hopefully that's what I'm saying to y'all in September. And I'm pregnant. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But finally, September is your finally moment where you get to look at what you've created and really see your value and your ability to have created this. You're going to feel really stable financially, emotionally, mentally, and physically. You're going to just be sitting on a very strong foundation in September, and you're going to be finally like in your feminine, where you feel like you can rest and relax. October. I literally saw like little kids on Halloween, and then we got the Six of Cups. We got Six of Cups, Six of Wands. So for some of you, you could be doing trick-or-treating with little kids. For others of you, you're going to be deeply healing your inner child in October, and you're going to have some kind of major victory over like your heart. So this can also be like soulmate energy. So I feel like you and your partner are going to be in a state of bliss in October. You're going to have a major inner child healing and heart chakra healing, and you're going to have some kind of huge victory in October that lights up your heart and kind of gives you compensation and reformations for the suffering that you've been going through since you were a child. So October is going to be a really beneficial month. You're also going to be crowned with something. So you might get some sort of new psychic gift. You might be crowned with some kind of money. You're being crowned with something here with the Six of Wands. I'm hearing Bel Air by Lana Del Rey, and it's like you're running into the arms of your beautiful new beginning here in October. Now that I'm sure ding dong, the witch is dead after that Ten of Swords situation. November, please. November, please. Ace of Wands, your new beginning in your new beginning. So all of 2026 has been a new beginning. November is your new beginning and your new beginning. You're going to just kind of be in like a blissed out state during October. You're going to be really nurturing yourself, your inner child, and just trying to enjoy and feel happy. And then November is like the hot new beginning, and your sex could get really good in November too with your partner. Things could get really spicy, really sexy. You could start doing sex magic, or you could just have more time to yourselves where you're available to be having these sexcapades. But things are going to be really hot, spicy, and sexy in November, and it's your new beginning and your new beginning now that you left behind that darkness that was trying to trail you June, July, August. And yeah, Sagittarius season's gonna be popping. Just heard, let's get it bumping all night long. Sorry, I don't know the words or the name of the song. Okay, December. Perfect. So then you solidify your new beginning in December. I feel like you could be hosting Christmas. So if you don't usually host Christmas, you could be hosting Christmas if you celebrate that, or if you celebrate any holiday during December, you could be hosting that. You're going to be able to give positive news in December. So you spent all that time standing 10 tones down and cultivating your manifestation. And in December, you're finally going to be able to share that with other people. Like, you're finally going to be able to share, like, we did it. We won the lawsuit. We got the house. We whatever, right? But I also feel like you could be hosting some kind of enjoyable event in December. But I also think, too, that this is when because, like, that sword is, like, face down in the ground. And I feel like this is when that hot new beginning solidifies down into something more logistic, right? Just like how March was the logistic month. The logistics are coming together in December, but you're also going to be turning up and celebrating. And you're going to have a lot of reason to rejoice in December of 2026. So I'm going to go ahead and get you... what do I want to do? I think I want to get you a guiding goddess for the year, and then I'll get you a I do want to get you an audacious angels card. I'm not going to read it, but maybe I'll post on the community. I'll post, go check my posts for the book meaning of this. So you got warmly receptive, so you're going to be really able to be in your feminine this year, and Spirit's reminding you to be warmly receptive. Your guiding goddess for the year, okay, you got Ixchel, release, okay. I think she's, don't quote me, she might be an Aztec goddess. Can look her up, Ixchel. Okay, and then we have Siren's temptation. Okay, so like I said, there's like a sexy aspect to this all, and like kind of like sex magic and stuff. But like owning that dark inner goddess. Okay, so Siren and Ixchel, and then we're gonna get you a oh, this card was left behind. Eight of Swords. You're gonna be freed from a mental prison in 2026. That card got left behind. Okay, and then I'm gonna get you one of these. Trust. This situation is asking for you to have faith. So that's all I have for you, group one. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. And I'll see you in fucking 2026. I love you. Take care. Bye. Hi, group two. So this is for those of you who chose this deck, and the card that came off, bless you, Sunday. The card that came off the top was the Four of Wands here with the fairies. And then in the time that I took resting to come back now, the Queen of Wands also fell off the top of the deck. And so what I heard is a lot of your focus this new year in 2026 is going to be creating soft landings and soft spaces for your hard launches. Okay, so whatever that means to you individually. Here with I also am like really getting the feeling that you're going to be learning a lot more occult mysteries this year. You're going to be diving into a lot of kind of like mystery school kind of information, hidden symbolism, occult magic, reading between the lines, doing a lot of stuff between the realms and in between the lines, as I said. And I think you're going to be working esoterically. So we have Lilith here. So if you just did the Lilith spell, this might be pertaining, have some connections to that as well. But also here with the fairies, I feel this also reminds me of a book from when I was an what am I saying? Okay, this reminds me of a book from when I was a child. So you could be connecting to your inner child, but I also feel that you're going to be seeing like this underlayer of whimsy that is not available to all those who look. So a lot of people don't see beneath the surface of what they are presented in their daily lives. And so I feel like you're going to be finding beauty in the small things a lot this year. You're going to have a lot of reason to celebrate and enjoy yourself. And you're also going to be laying some pretty strong foundations towards what you're building, the empire that you're building, right? Whatever that means to you, because it's going to be different for everyone. But also I feel like you're going to be like shifting between realms. So maybe you're taking a hike in the woods and all of a sudden you see like some sparkles, almost like fireflies, and then you kind of get taken into this almost like utopian fairy-like scene, and it's not something that everybody sees, but it's something that the forest was willing to share with you. I almost just said the village. That's weird. That's not what I was trying to say at all. So maybe that's a synchronicity for you, but it's something the fairies are willing to share with you. So little moments of magic, unexpected moments of magic. You could be having a hard time finding your words because I'm stumbling over my words so far. But moments of unexpected magic and seeing the beauty in the world that not everybody is available to see, and getting hidden information and learning the truth about hidden symbolism and information. So that's what I have for like the overall energy. So God, what is the message for group 2? What is January going to be like for group 2? That came flying right out. Okay, we have Justice and the Emperor. So for some of you, there is some sort of wrong or trauma or ancestral curse that is being righted around masculine energy. So this could be the father side of the family. This could be the divine masculine within you, because we have feminine and masculine energy in all of us. Or this could be like romantically, you could be getting your justice. I just heard just desserts. Your justice as far as it comes with dating. So if you've had kind of a troubled dating past, or if you're already dating someone, you could be making it official with marriage here with the Emperor and the Justice card, because justice can signify legal happenings and marriage. And then with the Emperor, this is the highest form of the divine masculine. So you could be getting engaged, you could be getting married in January, or you could be meeting the person that you are going to get married to if you want to get married, or just a long-term partner that is a healthy, safe, divine masculine. And I do feel that you are owed this energy. It is karmic, okay? It's karmic for you. And I just heard do your due diligence. So like whatever that means to you, make sure you're doing your due diligence in this situation, dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's, I just heard. And yeah, you're going to be coming out victorious in a way that people didn't want to see you come out victorious. So there's certain people around you that either don't want you to succeed or are actively praying against your success. Or, you know, you could come from a really tough family and you could have separated yourself. Like I was saying, this could have to do with the father side of the family. You could have separated yourself from that. And it's like they could be butthurt about it. Like, oh, she thinks she's better than us, or he, or whatever. Just change it. That's just how it's coming out of my mouth. But, oh, they think they're better than us now. And like, they'll see what it's like when they don't have us. And they could be actively wishing that things don't work out for you. This could also be an ex as well. You could have an ex that is actively wishing that you never find happiness. You could have an ex that was always like, no one's gonna love you, you'll never be happy, you're gonna regret ever leaving me. And it's like finally you're getting your justice, and you're getting not just justice, but you're getting karma for the suffering that you've experienced at the hand of this masculine energy. So like I said, whether it's ancestral curses, you're getting the justice you deserve from that. Whether it's romantic, you're getting the justice you deserve from that. And if it's within, if you've been suffering within, the masculine within you has been suffering, you're finally clearing that frequency so that you can activate your highest form of divine masculine within you. So for some of you, you could have been very self-sabotaging and your masculine was not protecting you. I just heard it was leaving you out to the wolves, and you would accidentally put yourself in compromising situations that were not healthy or safe for you because you were basically groomed or programmed into that. And instead of protecting you, the masculines in your life either were the wolves or they led you to the wolves. And so your inner divine masculine didn't know how to protect and didn't know how to take care of you because of that. And so that is shifting here in January, where you're activating that healthy, protective, nurturing, like stable divine masculine energy within, and you're finally getting what you deserve. And as I said, for some of you, this is a partnership, and so perhaps you've never really been with a man who's been like very protective, or there's always been some form of toxic masculinity surrounding the men that you've been dating. And what Spirit is saying is that you're truly leaving that behind. I also feel in January you could be delving into Norse mythology, so Nordic mythology, or you could be diving into ancient Egypt, ancient Kemet, because we do have the Sphinx here with the Emperor. I'm also noticing the Aries sign. Aries could be significant to you, but I feel, as I said, you're going to be delving into hidden information, and you might be learning about hieroglyphs or learning about different esoteric practices of ancient Kemet and ancient Egypt. But also here with the Justice card, we have the Valkyries, and the Valkyries were the basically similar to like angels over the battlefields, and they decide who lived and who died. In Norse mythology. I'm also seeing Thor, so Thor might be a synchronicity for you. You could have done our Zeus and Thor spell, and it's finally like manifesting or beginning the manifestation. Spirit's saying too that you've been really tested and asked to have a lot of patience, and you're finally getting your justice for that patience, because in the time that you've been being patient, you have been doing your due diligence, as I was saying. But like the movie Thor could be a synchronicity for you, or you could have done the Thor and Zeus spell that we did in 2025. Seven of Swords. Okay, February, please. Okay, so in February, I see that there could, I'm going to get one more card, but I see that there could be like foul people from the past that are trying to infiltrate your frequency. If it's not foul people from the past, it's like, because like I said, you're finally getting your justice and you're getting this masculine healing, and so it's like either people or energies or entities, like demonic entities or negative entities. They're trying to push through. There's some sort of like dirty, filthy frequency that is trying to surface in February here with the rats and this dirty, rundown old haunted house. We have the Two of Swords, so you're going to be asked to work together with someone. So maybe it is this like working together, the masculine and feminine within yourself, or you could literally be being asked to work together with someone. It could be this new partner that I'm seeing here with the Emperor. But first of all, you're going to have to be working on communication with your partner. And for some of you, old fears and stuff from the past are going to be resurfacing, and so it's really important to remember when you're in a relationship, it is not you versus your partner, it is you and your partner versus the problem. And my sister taught me that. She taught me that when she met her husband, she had to like realize that when they were first dating, because she didn't always like see things like that, and then she had realized that, oh wait, like it's not me versus him, like we're a team, we're a couple, we're a team, so it's us versus the problem. And so for some of you, old trauma is going to be surfacing, or old memories, or old like subconscious shit. For others of you, this is kind of like the filthiness that we're experiencing just in reality. Like there's a lot of horrible things happening in reality right now. And so it could just be the frequency of society as a whole and what the globe is going through as a whole right now that is trying to break you up with someone. I do believe it's the partner or or trying to get you to self-sabotage, to work against yourself, as I was saying. But Spirit is asking you to work in tandem with this person to overcome this stuff. Now, we have the Seven of Swords, which is cannibal, and then we have the Two of Swords, which is ghost. And it reminds me of the Prisms album by Katy Perry. I don't know why. This card always reminds me of the Prisms album by Katy Perry, because she had a song called Ghost. But there's like rats. So there you could be experiencing monitoring spirits. So when I was experiencing a monitoring spirit in my home, there was mice that kept coming up from my basement into my house. Now, I have lived here for 7 years. The mice have come up into my mudroom, or they've just stayed in the basement. They've never come into my actual house. There was only one time, right before I got rid of a particularly nasty attachment, like entity, like evil demonic kind of entity that was previously attached to my abusive ex, and then it like followed me into this new life that I had created, that I freed myself from the other one. And right before I severed attachments with that entity, and that entity tried to kill me with the bad mushroom trip, but it came up into my, like, under my sink as a mouse and was like pooping all over everything. And if you know me, I'm like very disturbed by poop. I am like not okay, especially mouse poop. So or like bug infestations. Like, I'm not okay. But I have a really good tip for you. If you ever have like an ant infestation, spray them with the foamy kind of cleaner, because it stops them dead in their tracks. Like, they can't move in the foam, and then you can kill them and clean it out. But anyway, so I had a monitoring spirit recently where there was like a couple mice that had come up into my actual home and were like wreaking havoc on my home. And my two little girls, my ice cream and sundae, they caught it, and I was listening to this like Jesus prayer that was like a blind all monitoring spirits and send them back to hell. And as soon as the prayer ended, ice cream caught the mouse and cut it in half, dude. Like, literally sliced it in half. And being me, I'm sure you know that went over really well. It was like midnight, and I had to clean it up myself and all this shit. But I was just glad it wasn't terrorizing my home anymore. And it was brazen. Like, it was so rude, that mouse. It was like acting like it owned the joint. But here with the rats, it's like, you could be dealing with some monitoring spirits that are always keeping tabs on you, always trying to keep you down. You could also be dealing with people, just like rats in real life. For some of you, you could have mob connections, or you could be connected to organized crime, and it's like that frequency is trying to like pull you back in. And if not organized crime, there's just bad habits, or like let's say you drink too much and you're like, I'm giving this up in the new year. Well, your drinking buddy hates you now because they were never your real friend. They were just your drinking buddy. And so they're trying to drag you back into it. Like, oh, we never hang out anymore. Why don't you come to the bar anymore? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's ratty behavior, right? Like, that's crusty behavior. If they were really your friend, they'd find ways to connect with you outside of using a substance that you no longer want to use. So I just feel like there's rats. I just heard, there's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. Like, and I'm not in a good way. Like, like there's some hoes that the light is going to be shown on them. And here with the Seven of Swords, I feel like it's like this thing, whatever it is trying to intimidate you. So whether it's like people from the past who don't want you to succeed, or entities, or like your subconscious trying to get you to like self-sabotage, you're kind of making a joke out of it. You're like, you don't scare me. I'm not scared of you. Like, I just heard I Will Survive, that song. So it's like with this Seven of Swords and this Two of Swords, I feel like you're really blocking out this Seven of Swords frequency. You're not falling for the same old tricks that you used to fall for in the past. And here with the Two of Wands, you're really working together with yourself, like your divine masculine and feminine in yourself, your conscious and subconscious, but then also working together with another person in February. Where did I put the deck? Okay, here, let me get a drink. Everybody take a drink. March, please, God. March. We have the Wheel, and that card is the Aquarius card, and February is like Aquarius season. So I feel like it's like you're getting off of this terrible cycle that you've been stuck in, and the very last of it is coming out in February in Aquarius season. You're no longer, and I feel like whatever is trying to hold you back is like bad but pretending to be good. So it's like these guys are torturing this man in the name of God, right? Like, they have a cross, but like what they're doing is not Christ-like. Beware of charlatans, and beware of people who are always preaching the word of Christ, or be like pretending to be so godly, but their actions like don't match that at all. So like people who, you know, they're like, you're going to hell, but then they're acting like so awful, and you're like, well, who are you to judge me? I thought God was my only judge. Isn't that what you believe? Like, be very wary of people who like really are focused on the appearance of looking like they're a great person and they're so good, and oh, they're so wonderful, and everyone loves me. It's like, usually you don't have to be like, I'm so great, everyone loves me. Like, that just naturally is an aura that you give off. Usually people who are claiming to be so wonderful or doing God's work or whatever, they're usually extremely misguided, and they're charlatans, and they're not very Christ-like at all. So like, the torturing that they're doing here is not Christ-like at all. And also, you're going, as I said, you're going into the esoterics this year, and you're going to be releasing some kind of past life that was connected to organized religion that pushed the idea of torture the body to save the soul. So you in your life could have been self-sabotaging and kind of like hurting yourself unintentionally from your own stuff in this life, but also from a previous life where you were a part of some form of organized religion that tortured the body to save the soul, and you're not doing that anymore. And even today, certain religions are like, if you want to be happy, like, in heaven, you can't be happy on earth, and that's just such horseshit. And so it's like, whatever you're releasing from Aquarius season, it was hurting you. It was a cycle you kept going over and over and over again in, and you were not even in control of it. It was like these outside entities or people or job or situation was like putting your feet to the flame, forcing you onto this cycle over and over again, and doing it under the guise of God. And it's like breaking that. So I remember for one of the girls who I did a past life reading for, she had a hag that was like stalking her family, like she and all of her siblings and cousins and stuff. I mean, I don't know if all, but a lot of them were being like harassed by this hag. And if you've ever heard of the hag riding you at night, like when you're trying to sleep, it's basically this like creepy old woman that puts you in sleep paralysis, and she looks horrible and scary and stuff. It's very demonic. And when I looked at the past life, she was part of the, like, I think it was the Spanish Crusades that were going through and doing like religious reformation. And so literally I got taken into this burning village where like everything was on fire and it looked like hell, right? Like it looked like hell on earth. And the hag was like this woman. She was like some sort of holy woman, and she had one of those crosses with like the ball on a stick, and she was like screaming, and she had like one of those incense that would like swing back and forth. And she was screaming like scripture, walking through this village, acting like somehow raping and pillaging and burning down a village is somehow an act of God. And so it's like she was attached to this family because they were one of the families that she had terrorized, like in that past life. So I feel like there's a really major like reckoning I just heard, and a huge like release that sets you on a path towards freedom in March. Okay, April. We have Knight of Swords. Yeah, so you're slaying these demons. What else for April, please? You're slaying these demons, and I just saw Macaulay Culkin when he's like, I'm not scared anymore. And, like, the guy that he was scared of wasn't even the right one to be afraid of, right? So it's like, that guy ended up being really nice, and then he, like, reunites him with his son and his granddaughter and stuff like that. And so it's like, you're slaying these demons, but I just heard you're growing up. So there's a part of you that is evolving and growing up and maturing in April. What else about April? You're going to not have any tolerance either for like dumb shit. Like you're going to be speaking your mind. You're not going to be afraid to call out dumb shit. Like, so let's say you're having an experience. Let's say you're escaping a church or something, and the church is like extremely hypocritical, and it's like they're trying to make you seem like you're the bad guy, and you're just going to call it out and be like, no, actually, like, y'all are doing X, Y, and Z. I'm not doing anything wrong. I don't want to be a part of this church anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be afraid of authority because you realize that nothing actually has authority over you except for God. Like, you have authority over yourself, and God has authority over you. And I just heard, bend thy knee for no one. They kept telling me that all of COVID, bend thy knee for no one. And I didn't. I never conceded. And so it's like, you're going to be saying what you think, and you're going to be saying it proudly, and you're not going to be putting up with crap. You're going to go a little bit into your villain era in April. So here with Baron Samedi with the Page of Pentacles, okay, so you're going to be kind of getting almost like that angsty teenager energy, because we have the page here. But Baron Samedi, he is a crossroads spirit. And also, I just watched what's it called? Die Hard. And he literally has a tattoo of Baron Samedi on his arm for the film. It's not real, but they were clearly channeling him for that film. But anyway, so he's a crossroads spirit. He's a trickster. And so I feel like not only are you going to be standing up for yourself and fucking speaking your mind and not taking bullshit from people and not like bowing down to perceived authority, you're going to regain authority and autonomy, I just heard, over yourself, your mind, body, and your soul. And you're going to be like loudly slaying the demons and loudly saying like, fuck your bullshit. I'm not playing your game anymore. I'm calling out your BS. You're going to really go into warrior mode, but you're also going to kind of go into your villain era. But villain for you is just like kind of like choosing yourself, but also being like kind of making jokes, like how I was saying here with this Seven of Swords. You're like kind of making jokes and like shitting on the energies that are trying to hurt you. That's also the energy of Vernon CT. Like, he's a trickster, and like he's not afraid to shit on people or prank people or trick people. Like, even I went by the crossroads last night after I was coming home from my parents' house for Christmas, and I always like look, I'm like, where are you, Baron? Because he lives in the cemetery at the crossroads, and I have a cemetery, a crossroads cemetery I always go to. And so I hit the stop sign, and I'm like, where are you? And I look, and I found him, like I can see him in my third eye, and then he immediately switched like behind, like in a corner, like, and he kind of tricked me. I was like, what are you doing? And he just like tipped his hat, and he's like, I gotta keep you on your toes. So you're gonna be keeping people on your toes because you're not like eating the force-fed, like, it feels like these frequencies have been trying to force feed you bullshit your entire life, and it's like, it ends in January, but you're really gonna be mouthy about it in April, and you're also gonna be like pranking these frequencies back, taking full control over yourself, and really activating certain magician frequencies in yourself, manifestation frequencies in yourself. And so kind of to like, see, he's like engulfed in flames. It's like, let's say like someone's like, you're going to hell, you're like, bitch, I'm already in hell. You know what I mean? Like, making a joke, taking it lightly, and not taking shit so seriously, but also being a warrior where you need to be a warrior, and fully slaying these demons and speaking your mind, and really tapping into like the dark frequency within you, and not dark as in evil, dark as in yin and yang, as in light and dark, as in masculine and feminine. As I was saying, you're balancing these frequencies, and so we can't be all love and light all the time. And I just heard that lady that's like, it cannot always be night. Like, it can't always be night. It can't always be day. And so you're going to be really working in more of that, like, dark energy, and not dark as in evil, just dark as in the opposite of light. Okay? Or the absence of light. Okay, let's see May. Whoa, that came out fast. So May, all right. That is, like, too much. Okay. So in May, here with the Hermit and the Four of Cups, it's like you're no longer rejecting yourself, and you're not afraid of rejection either. So like I was saying, you're speaking your mind, and you're standing up to perceived authority, and you're not afraid to be rejected, because you're like, it's way worse to feel like I can't be myself than it is to be rejected for being myself. And so you're just unapologetically going to be you, and you're not afraid of rejection, but also you are rejecting the idea that you're the only one that feels this way. So let's like continue the idea of like, let's even talk about society, right? So there are a lot of things that are fucked up in society right now that the masses as a whole are coming together to say, yeah, that's fucked up, but for some reason the world leaders and governments are trying to pretend like everything is all perfect, and act like everything is great. Like, someone told me the other day that the current administration, which I said it in the first group, I'll say it again because people don't fucking listen. I'm not saying you, but people are always like, you voted for this. No, I didn't. I stayed home and I prayed. Okay, cool, thanks. Also, to target an individual, to target your fellow like citizen, rather than the perpetrators that are actually doing the bad stuff, is the most fucking MK retarded thing I think I've ever experienced. Like, you really need to break your MK Ultra brainwashing if you feel like someone like me, like your fellow citizen that has no real control over these situations. Like, first of all, if you think voting actually matters, I don't know what to tell you. I knew after 2020 that voting didn't matter and that the elections weren't real. I just knew that in my heart. When I watched the shit show that was the elections. But to target your fellow human who has literally nothing to do with these predators and was not the predator enacting these evil behaviors, rather than focusing your anger and attention on the people who actually can change this shit, or who actually like did the bad things, like it's literally retarded. Like I said, you're falling for divide and conquer, and you really need to reevaluate your life. But anyway, so it's like someone said to me that this current administration is saying that we have a great economy. No, we fucking do not. We, like, what economy are they talking about? Because it's not the same economy I'm talking about. And so stuff like that, where it's like the mainstream narrative is saying one thing, and you're like, I don't care who I offend, I'm gonna say the truth, okay? And you don't care who walks away from you because there's like footsteps coming away from him. You don't care who rejects you. Here with the Ace of Wands, the Tower, Strength, and the Ten of Pentacles, what Spirit is saying is that there's going to be people, places, and things that need to be towered out of your life. They need to be released. They need to be removed. They need to be absolutely decimated from your life in order for you to move forward in a passionate new beginning. The passion is coming from within, like I said, as you get your justice, but as you also take back control of your autonomy and of your life and of your voice, and you're no longer bowing to perceived authority. The passion is coming from within. It's igniting and creating these major tower moments. This is also reminding me of Ghostbusters right now, so maybe you want to watch that movie. Zool, remember that, like, on the building? But so here with the Ace of Wands, the Tower, it's like your passion is creating these huge towers in your life, but what Spirit is saying is have strength, because the things that have been holding you back or spying on you, or like the monitoring spirits and stuff, they are so far in the distance. And also that just as much as there's like negative entities that are watching over you, there are positive ones too that are watching over you and supporting you through this time in your life. And here with the Strength card and the Ten of Pentacles, this maze that you're going through right now, where you're creating these towers and releasing and standing in your power, it's all leading you to something so beautiful here with the Ten of Pentacles. It's leading you to your ultimate highest, happiest, wealthiest, healthiest, like seriously most abundant timeline. And look, he's got like his hand over his heart. It's like you really just have to follow your heart, and when you follow your heart's desires follow you. That was deep. Okay, let's see about June. June, we have the High Priestess and Two Pentacles. So like I said, June is gonna, after you've created these towers, June is going to be more about your spiritual learning and tapping into the esoteric arts, and whatever new psychic or spiritual gifts you are getting, you're going to be diving into them in June. And you're also going to be regaining balance in your life, because after you allow the tower to fall and you release the things that were really holding you back or harming you in some way, you're going to have to refine balance. But also this card to me is about focus, because he's got the archery. You could be interested in starting archery, or that could be some kind of synchronicity for you. I see you getting off your phone and getting out in real life. So I see you spending a lot of time in nature in June, but I also see you doing real life things like archery or taking a class, or like literally getting off the internet and getting out of the false reality and getting into reality, but the reality that you're creating for yourself now that you've destroyed the opposition and knock down the towers. Okay. And so you also could be getting into more government conspiracies in June, because I just saw the Twin Towers in my head. But here you're tapping into more esoteric knowledge. You're going to be getting more psychic, and your focus is really going to be on your learning, and part of your learning will be spiritual stuff, but the other part of your learning could be, like I said, archery, or maybe you're going to take a ceramics class, or maybe you're going to take a tap class, and you're never too old to learn, right? And then you're going to be free as a bird, because you were like a caged bird previously. If you're leaving like an extremely religious household to pursue your own spirituality, you're going to feel so much more like yourself. And you're going to realize, I just saw 30. 30 is, it breaks down to a 3. I'm a life path 30 breaking down to a 3, and 3 is the number of creation. So the life you're creating is going to be so much more beautiful and authentic to who you actually are. And you're not, you know how when you're going through something and you don't realize how bad it is until things get better, like when you're really sick and then you finally get better, you're like, damn, that was horrible. Or you have a really bad living situation and then you finally live somewhere wonderful and you're like, wow, that was worse than I even realized. In June, you're going to be realizing that what you're leaving behind was worse than you realized in the moment. Okay, in July, you're going to be very focused on like woman power, okay? I just saw 3111. So if you are a woman, you're going to be very focused on girl power. And if you are not a woman, you're going to be very focused on the divinity of the divine feminine, right? So women and the divine feminine have been really demonized, not just by organized religion, but by society and government as well. And like, I just watched that movie From Hell, and it was like really triggering and scary because the way they treat women in that movie is so bad. It's about Jack the Ripper and like the prostitutes that he was killing, and everything is like filthy and they just treat the women so bad, and it's like so sickening. It was like really hard to watch. And it made me realize that, like, and it's crazy because that movie is, like, so much truth in plain sight. Like, Jack the Ripper ends up being, like, a fucking Freemason and all this shit, like I said, you're getting into the weeds in 2026. You're learning the symbolism and the hidden esoteric knowledge and information. But in From Hell is like, they literally look at women as the bottom of the barrel, and I'm kind of like, in certain ways society mirrors this today, just in this really weird digital, like, new age format, right? And so you're going to be very much in your girl power, because this is the Amazonian. You're going to be very much in your girl power and uplifting the divine feminine. And like I said, if you are not a woman, or you don't identify with the divine feminine, or maybe if you're someone who's like never really liked that kind of energy or had an easy time connecting to the divine feminine, you're going to be uplifting that frequency and connecting more to it. I also see that you're going to be connecting more to Mother Gaia in kind of the old traditional Native American way. So whether you have a Native American teacher to guide you through this, or whether you're literally just connecting to like the planet, to Mother Gaia, connecting to nature, like, you're gonna be mirroring some of the old kind of like spiritual stuff that the indigenous were doing before colonization. And you're really gonna be standing in your power and in your independence. You're also, so I'm sure you're gonna be thinking like a man. So you're going to be like very logical and thinking ahead in a very masculine frequency while uplifting the divine feminine, which I feel like the theme of your 2026 is like the balance of the masculine and feminine. Okay, August, please, Spirit. You might want to look into Mary Magdalene in July as well. Okay, August, you're ending a cycle for good. So there's some sort of cycle in your life. There's some sort of chapter in your life that's ending for good. So like, let's say you're getting married in August, you're ending the chapter of being the maiden, and now you're coming into this like chapter of being a married woman, right? Let's say you get pregnant, you're leaving that behind, and now you will always be a mother. And like from this point forward, you will always be a mother. You'll never be the maiden again, right? But either way, there's something that you're closing out. There's a chapter of your life that is ending forever in August, and it's ending in a positive way, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, and this is the snake eating its own tail. It is a dragon, but it's the Ouroboros, so you might want to look into that. And also you might be working with the dragons in August, but there is a major ending of a cycle and of a part of you. And so try not to, like, okay, so if you start to feel depressed or like even trigger warning, like suicidal or anything in August, it's because a part of you is dying. It's not because you want to die, it's because a piece of you is dying, or a piece of your ego is dying. So just keep a heads up with that. September, please. We have the 5 of Pentacles. So August is probably going to be a little bit of a tough month, right? Because we do have the death and rebirth that's going on here. And the idea of the 5 of Pentacles is, what people see is the people in the regular Rider-Waite deck is people who are stuck out in a snowstorm, but what people fail to acknowledge is that they are, after traveling miles in the snow, they're about to approach sanctuary, right? They're about to approach a church where they will be warm and taken care of. And so it feels like September is the last leg of the race where you are feeling left out in the cold. And I'm seeing the Hunchback of Notre Dame when he takes Esmeralda and he's like, sanctuary, sanctuary. So as you leave whatever you're leaving behind in August, as I was saying, you're getting these DNA activations and you're really stepping into that Native American spirituality. Like literally there's the native over the fire. You could be having fire ceremonies, you could be doing kundalini work or healing with fire, but you're doing these Native American practices, whether you're doing it formally or you're literally just doing it off intuition, connecting to Mother Gaia and the indigenous spirituality and even the indigenous spirits that came before you. Whether you're related to them or not, you can still connect to the indigenous as long as you do so respectfully. That is what's going to tether you to reality and ground you while you are on your way to sanctuary before you find your warm, cozy space in the church. October, please. Okay, So October, you're going to definitely be a bit wary still from everything that you've been through, because we do have the Five of Swords and the Eight of Swords. And so I feel like some of those monitoring spirits could be trying to resurface in October, but October is always kind of a tough month because the veil is super thin. And also, like, Scorpio season can be really raw. Like, it can make people really raw and emotional. And so I feel like you could be worried about, you might actually have really closed yourself off to connecting with other people. One, because like I said, you were diving into esoteric knowledge and stuff, but two, because you got burned in the past, so you've been like afraid to open up because you're afraid people are going to do the same thing that the others did to you in the past. And so I feel like you're having a lot of speculation and worry over people lying to you or stealing from you or wishing harm or bad on you. And the monitoring spirits could be trying to come back through, but I see that even if your physical reality doesn't match the reality that you want to see, I see that you find freedom in your own, like, enjoyment and in your own mind. So, like, your little hobbies that you've been doing, or even just, like, meditating and finding that freedom and peace within your own mind. I said recently that, like, when I've been really sick, I can't do, like, the acrobatics and stuff that I like to do. And so in my head, I just started doing them, and it made me feel so much better to just kind of have that outlet, you know? But I see that whatever opposition is trying to force itself against you in October, you have a lot of angels that are watching over you here that are supporting you. And I also see that, just to look at how they're mirroring, it's like the angels are looking over you and you're getting your wings. So all of this is leading you towards getting your wings. And I just heard that Kelly Clarkson song, Fly Away, Break Away, Break Away. Okay, you're finally breaking away. And so it's like, this is the last bit of whatever the fuck that needs to go before you fully break away. So what about Sagittarius season, please, for group 2, November? The Headless Horseman, the Page of Swords, and the Knight of Cups. Okay, cool. So we have, it's like, once you fully see what you need to see, it's like the light is illuminated on the things that you needed to learn, all those lessons that you needed to learn from, like, I think it's like July to, sorry, I'm getting a call. From July until, what is it, until November, interference, right? Because I'm getting a call and I'm trying to finish your reading. So the light has been shown on the interference in your life and how it's been holding you back so much, right? And you're finally, like, taking your power back. I just heard Where Is My Mind by the Pixies. The Bassnexer remix of that is really, really good. I think it's much better than the original. But you're seeing the truth around how love can conquer evil. You're seeing the truth about how love is actually more powerful than any of this Five of Swords, Seven of Swords energy that's been trying to keep you locked in a negative view of the world. Because I almost feel like if they can keep you locked in a negative view of the world, they can control your 3D reality. So Spirit is saying that you're seeing everything for what it really is that you've been up against, but also you're having some sort of wish fulfillment here, because this is the genie, and it's like, my wish is your wish is my command. It's the djinn. And the Knight of Cups is like, it's love, right? And so you're seeing how love conquers all, as cheesy as it sounds, but you're also getting some form of wish fulfillment that's going to kind of like refuel you from everything that you've been learning in the other months. Okay, so lastly, what can you tell us about December? 10 of Cups. So this is when you finally reap the rewards, right? Here with the 10 of Cups, this is when things finally start to turn around. You're finally happy. You know, you're finally able to expand and enjoy. You're having a nice time with friends or family. You could be starting a family. But here with the 10 of Cups, it's very much like this is a time of enjoyment. This is a time of reaping the rewards that you've been working so hard for. This is a time of reflection on how you want to move forward. Like, what does your future look like? And how do you continue to move forward in the highest frequency outside of this weird opposing energy? And also, I just think you're going to be really happy in December. I think you're going to have a lot of positive things happen to you after you get this wish fulfillment in November. And then you're going to be just really happy and feel very light and peaceful. And things are finally going to start really working out for you in a really great way. Okay, and now I'm going to get you Guiding Goddess. I'm going to get you a Audacious Angels card, and check my posts because I'm going to put the card meaning, like the book meaning of it, on the posts. A date with destiny. You have a date with destiny in 2026. You have to trust that all of this is happening because it is your destiny. It's all leading you to where you need to go. It's leading you towards that wish fulfillment and your happiness. You have a date with destiny in 2026, and even when it gets hard or it feels tough, it's supposed to. Like, it's supposed to teach you something. You're going to come out stronger on the other end. A guiding goddess. We have the goddess Athena, right? You start out the year with the Justice card, okay? And then you have Athena, which represents justice. And she also represents strategy. So as you move through this year, you can connect with Athena, but she's also telling you that you have to do so with strategy. You have to really move through this time in your life in a strategic way so that you can get the most out of it and be the least affected by the opposition and interference. And then I'm going to get you a romance card. Codependency. Wow. So one of the things you could be leaving behind is codependency. That could be one of these things that was like really holding you back. So we have codependency. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. So you could have other addictions, but if you're dealing with codependency, what Spirit is saying is that you are releasing that in 2026, and all these lessons that you are experiencing them because it's uprooting and releasing and healing any codependency from your family line that has been passed down to you, or any codependency that you're experiencing just in your own way. All right, so that's all I have for you, Group 2. Please like, comment, share. Let me know what you think in the comments. And I hope you have a great new year. And yeah, I love you. Subscribe if you're not, or if YouTube unsubscribed you. And I'll see you in 2026. Bye. Hi, Group 3. This is for those of you who chose the Star, what is it called? The Star Seers deck, I think. The Light Seers deck. Okay, so the star might be a synchronicity for you, but the card that I had pulled for you was the Knight of Wands. So I feel like this year, first of all, it's a year of the horse, which represents freedom, and we do have the horse in the background. But also, the immediate hit that I got is that this year is going to be really fun for you. I feel like you're going to be making dreams come true. You could be, doing things that you've never done, traveling places you've never been, making amazing new friends, going to live music, whatever is fun for you. I just feel like you're really going to enjoy yourself. You're going to have a really fun time this year, and I think you're going to unapologetically be yourself. I think music is going to be really, really important to you in 2026, and I just think that you're finding an inner freedom as well. As you're enjoying yourself, you're finding this inner freedom, this inner light that is igniting more passion, and then it's the more fun you have, the more passion, which leads to more fun, which leads to more passion, and etc., etc. So that is what I'm getting so far. So let's go ahead and see what the message is for you, God. What should Group 3 expect for January? What should Group 3 expect for January? Okay, so I feel like in January there is still going to be some leftover frequency. Okay, I think you're healing from something. So I think you're being blessed with a really fun year because you went through something really, really hard and you had to walk away from something that was extremely painful. I think whatever happened hurt you deeply, but I think walking away hurt either just as much or almost as much as what actually happened as well. And I think that you will still have this on your mind. Here with the Nine of Swords, you're going to be releasing the heartbreak, I feel. The heartbreak, the racing thoughts, the mental confusion around what you went through. And I feel as though you're going to be still trying to work it out. Here with the Five of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles, there's gonna be a part of you that's still trying to figure out, okay, why was I fighting for that so long? Or why didn't it work? Why did it never grow? I wanted this to grow. I wanted it to be good. I wanted it to become something, and it never did. And so the first month of 2026, I feel that you're going to be releasing a lot of mental anguish, but you're going to be releasing mental anguish by going through almost a checklist in your mind of figuring out a way to grieve what it is that you left behind. And so that's something people don't really talk about much, and that society doesn't really give good coping skills for, is that whenever we leave something behind, we do have to grieve it. And I learned this from a really great therapist in group therapy, that we're taught that we only grieve when someone dies, or like when your pet dies or something like that, when death is involved. But what people don't tell you is sometimes you have to like grieve your old self, or sometimes I think that that's kind of part of what postpartum is. Like, I know there's a lot of factors that, you know, come into dealing with postpartum, but I feel like, you know, part of you has died. You'll never be the version of you that you were before you got pregnant and gave birth and now have a child. And so women aren't, I feel, given proper space to grieve after that experience, to grieve who they used to be, and to get to know and welcome in who they are now and will continue to grow and expand and become. And so there's either a part of you that you're like leaving behind that you need to grieve, and that you're wondering why, you know, it wasn't going to work or it didn't. So maybe let's just use like an example. Like maybe you thought you were going to be a doctor, and you're going to school, and then bam, something happens, and now you're like not going to be going to school anymore. You're not going to become a doctor. You have to abandon that dream. And so it's like you kind of have to grieve the future you never got to have, because it just didn't work out that way. It wasn't meant to happen. And the version of you that is never going to exist because what you were trying to create didn't come to fruition. So it feels like there's going to be a lot of like grieving around who you are and who you were, and also like grieving whatever you left behind. So yeah, it could be a career, it could be future plans, it could be a relationship, it could be anything. Like you can literally grieve anything that you're losing. And so I feel that you're going to be going through the checklist of all of this in your mind, saying, okay, like I had to let it go, but that, you know, you got to think about, like I said, why did I fight for that so hard? Okay, I fought for it so hard because being a doctor was my dream. And okay, what's behind the dream of being a doctor? Well, I wanted to help people. I wanted to nurse people back to health. And then I figured out the systems were corrupt and this and that. And it's like, you're going to have to go through the checklist in your brain. And then Spirit said the gems of the lesson are going to be in figuring out why you wanted that thing so bad. So if it's a relationship and it's like just not going to work with this person, well, why did you want that person so bad? Well, they made me feel like I was at home. I felt like they would be a good parent to my child, my future children. I thought we could build a beautiful home together. Okay, so what I want then is a good, a loving partner that feels like home, that would be a good parent that I could build a beautiful home with. So it's like figuring out, I just heard the crux of the issue, whatever that means, and figuring out like why did you want that in the first place? Just because you can't have that specific thing or that person or that career path or that house, or you can't go to that college you thought. Perfect example, I thought I wanted to go to Eastern in Connecticut. I ended up at Western, the opposite, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Everything I wanted and more was at Western. So sometimes we think we want one specific thing, but we only want that specific thing due to the like what we've projected in our mind that it means to us, and the feelings and associations we have with that thing. But we can have those feelings and associations with another school, another person, another career, etc. And so you're going to be doing a lot of that in January, just kind of like going over the mental checklist of processing all of that. February, please, Spirit. February. Okay, for some of you in February, listen, if you don't want to get pregnant, just make sure you're protecting yourself, okay? Anything else for February? Okay. So, we have the Empress, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Five of Pentacles. So, I feel like once you finally do get out of this mental prison that you've been stuck in, you get up, you try that key. This always reminds me of Harry Potter, so that could be a synchronicity for you, that key room that they have to go through. But it's like once you finally get up, get that key, and unlock the door, it's like you're back onto business. And all that, I almost feel like you feel like all the time and effort that you've put into something is going to be for nothing, when in reality it's not, because you're still going to take the lessons that you learned from it, and you're still the evolved version of you that came out of that experience. So it's like, just because you're starting over in career doesn't mean that, you know, you don't have all the lived experience from however long you spent in that career. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. Like, you can start again at any age and any stage in your life, and the society we live in really tries to convince you otherwise, and that's just not the truth. So I feel like once you're done with all of that and you pick yourself back up, it's on to the next thing, and all that work and time and attention and effort that you have put into the other situation, person, whatever, it's going to be able to manifest into this beautiful new beginning for you, okay? So once you finally make those last choices and last steps towards releasing this on all levels, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, it's like, that's when I just heard, let the games begin, baby, because the Empress, you don't have to be pregnant with a child. Like, pregnancy, we can see in the tarot, can mean like the birth of something new. So this new version of you, this new idea, this new career, whatever it is, you're birthing something new into reality in February, and you're really taking on this Empress energy of beginning anew, and healing, like deeply healing, and also learning how to receive. So I feel whatever you had to walk away from was really draining you, or really it was like against your moral code in some ways. So like I was saying, let's say you're going to school for one thing, and then you realize, holy crap, like these systems are so corrupt, I can't fix them. Like I can't just fix them by being a cog in the wheel. I have to make my own thing. And so it's like being open to receive and being in this feminine energy that allows you to have the freedom to just be yourself, to unapologetically be yourself, like I was saying in the beginning, and to create something new outside of the systems that were holding you back, or the rules that were holding you back, or whatever this was that was stifling your progress and your growth. It was holding you back in some way, very seriously. And so you're birthing this new situation, this new, for some of you, you're making something that doesn't exist. So let's just go off the example of you were going to be a doctor. Okay, you were going to be a doctor, and now you're like creating this new practice that combines Western with Eastern, with yoga, with ballet, and axe throwing. Just kidding, but you know what I mean? Like, it's never been done, baby, but this is how we're gonna do it. Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean that it wouldn't be a good thing to have. Now, that example was kind of dumb, but I think you know what I'm saying. Like, we don't really have a lot of good inventors or innovators in the time that we're living in, and that's by design, right? That's by our grooming, that's by our poison food, our poison air. Like, they're doing everything they can to keep us from thinking outside of the box, because they want us enslaved to these systems. And so what you're creating is completely outside of those systems. You could even be getting, I saw 1111. You could even be getting ready to move off grid. You could be getting ready to like completely disconnect. Some of you could be disconnecting from like toxic family, but whatever it is, in February, you're going to start seeing like the fruits of your labor from all the time and energy and attention that you were putting into that one thing that didn't work out. You're going to see all that the fruits of your labor coming into this new creation that you're building, because it wasn't wasted time. Okay. March, please. March for group 3. March for group 3. Okay, now it's crunch time, baby. Now it's time to learn. Here with the Page of Swords, it's like she's opening up the book. She's having these new ideas. Like, those are literally light bulbs above her head. Light bulb, like Gru from Despicable Me. That could also be a synchronicity. It's like, okay, now I have all these ideas. I gotta learn. I gotta educate myself on how I'm going to make these ideas happen. How am I going to bring this shit into fruition? But also, you're going to be walking a tightrope during March. Like, watch your step, because it feels like there's a very thin line that you're walking. There's a specific path to get you from point A to point B, and it's going to be like walking a tightrope. And listen, when we're trying to create something, it's not very good to like always tell, it's not always good to tell people that you are going to be doing this, because Sorry, I think I do want to take that one. It's not always good to like tell people what you're doing because they can send you the evil eye. They can try to talk you out of it. They can talk bad about you behind your back, especially when you're making something that never existed before. So it's like kind of like keep this to yourself and don't be like spreading it. I just heard, dun 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 dun. Start spreading the news. Yeah, don't do that. Like stay within and kind of walk this narrow road. I just heard, I walk a lonely road on the boulevard of broken dreams. Okay. Hanged Man. In March, it might feel like you're a little hung up right now, but it's because Spirit needs you to take a different perspective. And so even though, as I said, it may feel like you're a bit stifled towards what you're trying to get because you put all time, energy, and attention into something else, now that you're, having these new bright ideas and learning more, it's completely shifting your perspective and you're seeing things from a new point of view. I feel that in my teeth. In March, you could also get your answer as to why you couldn't have what you thought you wanted to have. So let's say it's a person and you broke up with them and you're like, why didn't it work? This is what I wanted, blah, blah, blah. Well, in March, maybe the new person comes in, like your actual person comes in. It's like, oh, this person is way more compatible for me than the person I left behind. I just saw 1414. So you're seeing things from a new point of view and it's really lighting you up. And it's creating a lot of like questions in you. So you're kind of questioning things in a positive way where you're not just settling. You're not just settling and letting the world push you around or people push you around. Like you're questioning things. And I just saw when Kylie did that really dumb interview and she was like, I'm realizing things. Like you're realizing things in March. And it's because you're getting a new perspective. And also, too, things are being illuminated here with the moon. And people might think you're crazy because the moon can signify lunacy. So like I said, you're having these new innovative ideas that are not in existence yet. Like, I bet people thought Thomas Edison was crazy. I bet people thought Tesla was crazy. I know people thought Jesus was crazy. It's because you're doing shit that they ain't never seen before and they don't have open minds. I just saw 1515. And so they're showing me the dad in Belle, how he's like the inventor, and they're like, he's so crazy. And then they like abuse him because he has thoughts outside of what they deem fit. So it's like that. It's like people are going to think you're crazy, but you're suspended in the ether. You're suspended in between realms. You're getting divine downloads that are telling you like, hey, do this new thing that's never been done before. And the same way you're suspended in this hangman frequency, you're suspended here in the ocean. I just heard astronaut in the ocean. And then also, too, it's like the two wolves. And it's like, are you going to feed the wolf where everybody's yelling at you saying that you're crazy? Or are you going to feed the wolf that's like driving your heart and giving you this passion and pushing you forward and like wants you to succeed in this new idea? Which game are you going to play? Are you going to let the naysayers get the best of you? Or are you going to just keep doing the best that you can until you see what things work out how you want them to work out? Because you're a trailblazer, right, in this situation. And I just heard let the light in as well, because we have the lights here, the light in her head. I just heard the light's lit. That's from Snow White. It's Doc. And then I just heard Bugs Bunny, and what's up, Doc? So the lights are here, the light's in her head, and then there's the light from the moon shining down from her. So just know that like let the light in because it's trying to reach you, and you have a lot of support and guides as you're moving through this. So that was March. Okay. April, please. 7 of Cups. So you're going to be faced with a decision in April. You're going to have seen the path forward, and you're going to have to choose which way you're going to take it. I'm seeing chutes and ladders here because see all the little ladders and stuff. This is also a corn snake as well right here, and the ocean again. So the path, you will have many options towards which way you want to go, but it's going to be up to you to make a solid choice in April, which will be the astrological new year, and it will be the it'll be Aries season. So you're going to have to make a choice. You're going to be presented with many different paths or decisions, and you're going to have to make a choice towards what it is that you want to do. Okay, for some of you, you're going to have to choose your life partner or your man. Oh, there's two here. Okay. That's really weird. Okay. These got left behind. So we have the Devil and the Lovers. So it feels like there are old either karmic partners or karmic ties that are trying to drag you back down into the lower timeline of which you have already escaped, and you're going to have to make a choice, and you'll have several different options to choose how you move forward in this new timeline and in this new practice that you are creating and in this new whatever the fuck that you are bringing to the world, okay? This new idea, this new invention. Now, we do have the Emperor, and he's got the chess piece, again, with Harry Potter. Not Hermione, not me, you! When Ron is gonna sacrifice himself. So you could have to choose between, like, going around in a circle again with a karmic partner or choosing this new Emperor. And for others of you, you're going to have many choices in love, and the karmic energy that's trying to pull you back is your own subconscious mind, unconscious mind, your own like sufferings from the past that are trying to make you not trust your decision making. But what Spirit wants you to know is you've been putting in the work. You get clear-headed before you make this decision. Really sit just with yourself, and this is a decision for you to make. It's not a decision for you and your mom and your friend and your sister. Like, no, this is your decision to make. This is your life. You need to get clear, you need to get grounded, and you need to figure out what it is exactly that you want so that you can make the right decision. And for those of you who are making a decision on a partner, it's like your Emperor is in the lineup and you will choose correctly. But just how I said, like, chutes and ladders, just remember this is a game, and so follow the clues. And then I just saw a clue, like the board game clue. Follow the clues that lead you towards the person that you're supposed to choose. Follow the clues that lead you towards the career path you're going to choose, right? But for a lot of you, I think there will be a choice in love here. I do, with the Emperor. And also, especially because you're coming up as the Empress in February, right? And he's looking at her. So your person might have eyes on you far before you even realize they do, okay? And I just heard checkmate. And then it's, which I think is a chess thing. And then, it's like, I just heard Lady's Choice. And then I just heard that song, because it's the ladies' night and the feeling's right, okay? So Lady's Choice. And if you're not a lady, excuse me, change this around as you see fit. Okay, so that was April. Let's do May. May, please, for group 3. May, please, for group 3. 9 of Wands, protecting your decision. The choice has been made. The line has been drawn in the sand. That duality of the light and dark again, like the wolves. So you're going to make this solid choice, and those voices of doubt, whether they come from within or without, like how I was saying, like society thinks you're crazy because nobody's ever had axe throwing at the doctor's office. Just kidding. That was a really dumb example, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say with it. But it's like people are going to tell you that what you're doing is crazy, that the choice you're making is crazy, and you're going to have to stand like 10 toes down on that decision here. The line is drawn in the sand, the choice is made, and it's not their life to live, it is your life to live. So May is really going to be the reckoning, I just heard, which I don't really know what that means, but it's going to be the reckoning, and justice will be served, and the justice is you making the right decision. You are going to April is about trusting your decision-making skills, okay? Because you will make the right decision, and justice will be served. And you're going to be very protective of this decision that you made. And as I said, you might not share it with people. So let's say you get pregnant or something. Maybe you find out you're pregnant in February, and you want to do it differently. Maybe you don't want a hospital birth. You want a home birth. And so you're weighing out your options, and you're figuring things out. And people are like, you're crazy. Get the epidural, you stupid bitch. And you're like, fuck you. I think you're a stupid bitch. Just kidding. But you know what I mean. And so you find this out, and then it's like you decide for yourself in May, I'm doing the home birth. I'm not having pain medication. I trust God. And it's like you're not telling people because you are protecting this decision, because it needs to be nurtured. Whatever decision you're making needs to be protected and nurtured, and it needs to be cast. The naysayers, the doubters, and the earworms, like people that are like basically like trying to be like parasites in your mind, like they need to be rebuked, okay? So Yeah, the line will be clearly drawn in the sand by May. And the choice will be made. June, please, for group 3. June, please. And it is going to pay off so much. You're coming up as the Queen of Wands. In June, you're going to be so happy. You're going to be standing in your power. You're going to be, again, letting the light in here with these candles. Working your own magic. Working your own light. You see that light she has in her hand? And you're going to be happier than ever because I just heard, I have the baton. I'm the one in charge. And so you're going to fully regain control and autonomy over yourself and your decision making. And it's going to feel really good, especially when you don't have all these negative voices around you. And also I'm noticing this little black cat here. So you could have a little pet that's guiding you, that's in spirit or in the physical form. But she herself is a light. Look at the way she's lighting up. The light, I just heard the light within me shines like an unarmed walrus, like a diamond mine. The song is Be Safe by the Cribs. I was bumping that when I was 14 on the school bus on the way to school, especially on a rainy day. But the light within you shines like a diamond mine, okay? And diamond mine, okay, diamond mind, ocean eyes. But that song, Ocean Eyes, and he's like, here, diamond mind, but diamond mind. So the light is going to be emanating from within. The power is coming within you, and you're going to be so happy in June because you're just going to be following your heart, and you're not going to be letting this shit get you down, and you're not going to be doing everything for everybody else. You're not going to feel trapped in societal norms or certain structures that you left behind, right? So what can you tell us about July? What can you tell us about July for group 3? The wheel, okay? So the Wheel of Fortune. This is when things really start to turn around for you. This is when luck is on your side. You could be traveling, doing some kind of road trip. So I'm noticing the dice around her neck. You could even be gambling. Also, I'm noticing this little compass here. It's reminding me of Pocahontas, the spinning arrow. And it's like everybody thought she was crazy. Nobody understood her path. But in the end, her path brought together the people against the government. Like that, Pocahontas is such a classic. That was my favorite as a kid. I thought I was Pocahontas. I genuinely thought I was. I had the costume, I had the fake tattoo, right? It was like this plastic bracelet thing that looked like the tattoo. I would force my sister to be Nico, the little raccoon, and I would slow motion run and sing, how loud are the drums of war? And like literally like that's how I would play, like slow motion run. I had a willow tree in my backyard that I talked to, like Grandmother Willow. Like I had a pussy willow in the backyard. But her path didn't look normal to anybody else, did it? But it got them where they needed to be. It made them stop fighting each other and start fighting the true enemy and the true adversary. And whatever you're doing is bringing people together to fight against a good common cause, to fight against an actual enemy instead of fighting each other. And so this is when the wheel really starts turning for you and things really start to go in your favor and luck starts to get better. July might be a good time to play the lottery. Please don't do anything crazy and be like, Dutchess told me to. No, do it. Be responsible, okay? Be responsible. Yeah, you're definitely traveling here with the Six of Swords. Like I said, some kind of road trip. There's some kind of travel that's coming in July. And this is when things get really lucky. You could be going to Vegas in July. Because like I said, the dice and the coins and everything. But it's the two roads diverge in a yellow wood. And sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood. Right? Who is it? Robert Frost? He took the path less the path less taken, and that has made all the difference, right? Look that poem up. I had to memorize it in school. I could probably do some of it. Okay. I can't. So it depends. Sometimes I can still recite it, and I had to learn it in 8th grade. I took the path less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Yeah. And you're really going to see that difference in July. August, please. August, please, for group 3. Three of Cups, and I feel you're going to be rewarded with soul family, and I just heard star family. So you could be meeting a lot of star seeds or connecting to your star family or just connecting to the stars, because like I said, I thought this was the Star Seers Tarot. It's the Light Seers Tarot. So I feel you'll be connecting to the stars, and you're really going to be connecting to like your soul family. And this is also a Celtic symbol here. You could be going to Ireland. You could be have Irish ancestors or connecting to Celtic magic. But I feel that you're really you're gonna start to see other like-minded individuals who support your vision in August, and you're going to be coming together if you're a woman, like in sisterhood, because these look like they're coming together in sisterhood, and you're going to be celebrating, and you're going to be happy, and you're going to be having fun, okay? Like I said in the beginning, August is going to be a really fun month. You could have some sort of alien experience, like some sort of like star family experience, some kind of abduction or something. I feel like it would be a benevolent one because it's the Three of Cups. But I just see you rejoicing and being surrounded by people who support you and who actually see the vision and want to support the vision, okay? Let's see about September, please. September, Four of Cups. Okay, so in September, you're going to be asked to end another cycle in order to let something come in. So with the World, you know, August might be so fun. And let's say, you know, you're getting together with people who don't live near you, but then you go back to your separate area. So it's making me think of Salem, like when all the girls came together and it was like so fun, and then everybody had to go home and it was like, what the fuck? Did that really happen? Like, that was so nice, but that now we're all across the country and we're like nowhere near each other. And here with the World and the Four of Cups, it's like, it's almost like whatever fun things you're doing in August, I just heard all good things must come to an end. And so it's like whatever fun things you did in August, you're not really going to want to stop, or you're not really, you could be having summertime sadness. I just heard that in my head. You could be having the summertime blues, like you're not ready to let go of summer or whatever. But you're going to be asked to release something, or you're just going to be moving forward in September where certain things get left behind. And you're going to feel a little bit like melancholy over it, but that's just because you don't see that as you leave behind these three empty bowls, this beautiful bowl with the, excuse me, with the rainbow inside is what comes at, it's like this is what's at the end of the rainbow, right? The good thing is at the end of the rainbow. No more chasing rainbows. Out of the black into the blue. I hear that song all the time. Get Free by Lana Del Rey. I get that as a message all the time. Even she's got a rainbow on her dress. Okay, so there's something about no more chasing rainbows here and having to give up something. So it could be like a conception about yourself. It could be like a person. It could be like an idea, a dream, something like that. Something that's just like in the beginning, right? You were giving up something that didn't work, but it was because it was leading you towards something better. And so September is going to be a month where you really do have to close out some cycle. If you're pregnant, like I said, maybe this is, you're like kind of like, whoa, okay, I got to end this cycle, and you know, I got to leave behind my single life and my childless adult life and whatever. It's like there's something that's closing out in September. And then we have the Knight of Cups for October, and it's like this is what's on the other end of it, right? So it's like here that rainbow comes in, and what's on the other end of it. Okay, so if you're looking for a partner, if you didn't get a partner, like I said, I think it was like April, it's like you're getting that partner in October. And if you already have a partner, it's like things are becoming more romantic and more soft. I'm really seeing that. If you have a partner, you're going to be experiencing a lot of softness, nurturing, and like feminine energy from your partner that really it really support, like being very supportive, very kind, very loving, very giving. And if you don't have a partner, there's someone coming in that is like, right? And here's the horse. Okay, so if you didn't pick a partner in April, like if you're not part of that group where you don't meet someone, if the decision is a different decision, remember how you're coming up as the Knight of Wands? Well, this is the Knight of Cups, and it's like, here's the black horse, and you with the Knight of Wands. Here's the white horse, and him here with the Knight of Cups. And then remember from the Moon card is like the black and white wolves, okay? So it's like, this is, I really feel that if you didn't meet your partner earlier in the year, I do feel that you will be having some sort of romantic experience or connection in October that feels really beautiful. Or for some of you, if you do have the partner, so like for me, I have never had like a positive fall experience with a partner. Like I always did really fun fall things with my sister, and then my sister moved away, and then I didn't have anybody to do it with. And for years, I actually, like the last couple of years, I did it by myself, which is just not fun. Like it's just, objectively, it's just not fun to go to fairs and shit alone. And so it's like, maybe you're finally getting that like fall you always wanted with like a good partner that actually treats you nice and like takes you to do fun things and enjoys the same things you do. Either way, you're going to be in kind of like this love bubble in October, and it's going to be really nurturing for your soul, especially because you had to leave something behind in September. For some of you, like I said, if you're like giving birth in October, it's like that baby bubble where you're getting really close with your partner as you welcome this child into the world. November, please. November. 5 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles. Okay, there's going to be... Okay, so for some of you, as you claim your independence, there are certain losses that you experience. You lose certain friends, you lose certain opportunities, you lose certain jobs, you lose certain whatever, okay? For some of you, as you collect your independence, you lose some other things. For others of you, you're going to be grieving a certain loss of your independence. So let's say you build this incredible company and you're CEO, and I just saw 3434, and you have everything you ever wanted to have, and you did it, right? You did it. You broke the cycle, you did the thing, and it's like, I lost a lot of my independence because now I'm running this company that I worked so hard to build. And so it's like, there's this idea again, coming back around, of the grieving, right? Of grieving either a loss of independence through realizing your dreams, or grieving losses that were had due to you claiming your independence. It's one of those two things, okay? So that's going to be November. And then we have December. That came flying right out and landed right on the first one. It landed right on the Knight of Wands. So it's like we bring it back around full circle, the light and the dark, and we find this perfect balance here with the 2 Pentacles. December is going to be a really enjoyable meditative month, I just heard. So you're going to be very peaceful, very confident in your choices, feeling very balanced, feeling very just grounded, like extremely grounded. And I think that you're going to connect really strong to Christ consciousness energy in December. So when I'm looking at it, it feels like it's like the cultivation of letting the light in, and I'm really feeling Christ conscious frequency. So you could be doing like Yule ceremonies or other things to connect to Christ consciousness and connect to the lights in December, and you're going to feel very filled with God. So whatever you did have to lose to get to this point, you're not going to feel the void anymore, because God as you perceive God is going to be filling that void within you. And filling you with the light. So check my post, because I'm going to put a picture of these cards with the image and then the book definition for each group. 3 wishes. Okay, so this card is about making 3 wishes that you want to accomplish by the end of the year. So that's something to do before you step into 2026. Write down 3 goals or 3 wishes that you're attempting to achieve in this new year. And then I'm going to get you a guiding goddess for this year. Guiding goddess, please, for group 3. Okay, we have Joan of Arc, Faith. So it's like, she was not typical, was she? Joan of Arc. She, and especially not as a woman. So if you're a woman, and look, we have another like warrior, Boudica, Unity. And so we have Joan of Arc, Faith, White Buffalo Woman, Peace, and Boudica, Unity. So I feel like, as I said, you had to kind of go through this warrior frequency, cutting out all the bullshit, and you had to have so much faith in yourself and in God as you perceive God this year. But ultimately, it brought you closer. It will bring you closer to God, and it also brings unity, as I said, as we saw with the Three of Cups in August. It brings this unity within you and whatever it is that you're building that makes it so worth it here. And then here with the white buffalo woman, she's an ascended master, and I feel like this is the Christ consciousness energy surrounding you with that peace, right? It's going to be a very meditative month. You're going to close out 2026 just filled with so much peace, filled with so much like Christ light and Christ consciousness. And white buffalo woman, she's a very high power female ascended Christ consciousness master. So you might want to look into her and her story. So that is all I have for you, group 3. I'm just going to say thank you. Thank you to my guides, guardians, ancestors, angels, star family, higher self, Yeshua, Baal, Ra, Yemaya, Kronika, Sophia, Jack, and God Source, for allowing me to be the channel through which these messages flow. We thank you for the truth, and we thank you for the advice. Amo Rashi Namaste. By the power of 3, so mote it be. It always works, always a blessing. So I fucking love you guys. Thank you so much. Please like if you like, share, comment. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you listened to my rant in the beginning, let me know what you think about that. And I'll see you motherfuckers in 2026. I hope you had a great Christmas. I hope you have an amazing New Year. I love you, and I'll catch you on the flip side. All right, bye.
And I will see you another time. Okay, bye.